Well, that's a step in the right direction.
Hello, everybody. It's Gen Z reviews time. It's that time of the week. Today's a sad day, though, everybody. It's very sad. We have been on a very strange run of films lately, as people have been pointing out. And this is definitely one for the books. We watched The Elephant Man, Anthony Hopkins, John Hurt, David Lynch's tragic film. And I'm starting to hear that Eraserhead is really good too. So I think we're going to put that on the shelf for a little later because this is, wow, just an exceptional work of art. And, everybody was right. It's a sad one. And this is a really tough watch. And I'm excited to talk about it with you guys because I don't think we've ever talked about anything quite like this. I think when we haven't talked about too many tragic films. I think the most tragic movie we've talked about, obviously, was Passion of the Christ, right? But this one really is a standalone. And very excited to talk about it with you guys. If you're new to the channel, if this is your first time here, the way this works is we're going to be, of course, covering like generalizations about the movie as a whole, but we're also going to be breaking it down into chapters and analyzing the story through those chapters. And there's definitely a lot to talk about here. And I was really surprised by how visceral this movie was going to be. This was my very first time watching a David Lynch film. And I've always heard just the highest praises for him. And I can see why. I didn't realize that he was such an artist like he was in this. Oh, gosh. As Matt laughs at me, are you not a David Lynch guy?
No. Well, I mean, this is one of his more accessible movies. So if you watch any of his other shit, it's like a completely different filmmaker. I mean, once you kind of get how he makes movies, you can see the David Lynch isms in this film, but this is definitely, like I said, it's just way more accessible. This actually has a plot that goes from point A to point B to point C. Usually his movies are, the best way to put his movies are like, it's like you're watching a dream. And I don't know, this is like I said, if I were to start with a David Lynch movie, I wouldn't necessarily start with this one. So it's interesting. I did have a question for you though. What made you guys pick this movie?
Well, you know what? do you ever have a movie, like a title that's just stuck in your head and you keep thinking about it and you haven't even seen it? Has that ever happened to you, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the case here. And I know it's like, I've been thinking about it for such a long time and I've seen, you know what? I'll say this. It's weird. Like, people hate on Gen Z for a lot of good reasons. And one thing I think we have going that sort of excites and puts life into a lot of old movies, which sort of resurrects them, is there's just a lot of interesting clips people post on Instagram, TikTok. I don't use TikTok, trust me. But on Instagram, I'll just scroll through and I'll just get a little clip. And something so small as maybe even a 10-second scene can really spark my curiosity. And what drew me to this was the scene towards the end when he says, I am not an animal, I am a human being. That was just like a wow, crap kind of moment. And I wish I hadn't seen that on Instagram, but at the same time, that gets you interested, right? And that definitely that got the ball rolling here for me. And I could see a lot of people in my generation kind of gravitating towards this because of just how deep it goes. And I think a lot of young people are longing for that, right? The deep expression of emotion and tragedy. I love tragedy. Tragic tales are my favorite. Schindler's List is like top 5 for me. And Passion of the Christ, that's another tragedy, which obviously has a happier ending. But, at the end of the day, this is just one of a kind. That's funny you say that David Lynch's other works are pretty different than this, though.
Well, yeah, if you start with a David Lynch movie, I think Eraserhead probably is the best thing to start with, even though fuck that movie. But I would start with Mulholland Drive. That's my favorite Lynch movie. And then I'd watch Lost Highway. Both those movies, and they're like companion pieces to each other. They both feel very similar. They're both shot the same way. But those are if you watch one of those movies, that is a David Lynch movie. That's how you can like pinpoint his style, is just watching those. This, it's just a little too conventional. Even though there are Lynchian things in it, which we can discuss further once we get into it. But I'd be curious to see how you felt about him after watching one of those movies, like what your opinion would be.
Well, I'm all about visceral, so that gets me excited. Real quick, I see. Look who's here. Ashley's here. She made it.
Hello.
Were
Sorry,
you
I'm
crying?
late.
Is that why you're late? Were you crying too much?
I was. Sorry.
I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you. This is a good one. Thanks for joining us, Ashley. It's good to have you on. So, for people that aren't sure what this movie's about, I bet you've definitely heard the name Elephant Man before, right? Let me tell you a little bit about it here. Obviously, I guess I'll just use this as the title page. So, The Elephant Man, this is a true story, oddly enough, about a man named John Merrick, who was a severely deformed man in Victorian London who was exploited into a freak show as the Elephant Man until the kindly surgeon Frederick Treves, played by Anthony Hopkins, rescues him, brings him to a hospital, and helps him regain his dignity and humanity while the world is putting all the pressure on his shoulders. So, although it's like really tragic, it's also kind of heartwarming in a way what Anthony Hopkins' character is able to do to kind of bring out the humanity in this man that is just so lost in depression and neglect. It's really kind of inspiring at the end of the day. But, most of the time we follow this character that's just utterly broken in so many ways, and it's challenging to get through. But, there's kind of those shy moments that shine, like what the breakthroughs that Anthony Hopkins is able to have with John Merrick's character to, surpass that terrible facade as being the Elephant Man, which he's always pushed down to be. I'm kind of wondering what you guys think about this, because I think this is like one of those iconic films that leaves like a strong, lasting impact and impression on somebody. What was the impression and impact this film had on you guys the first time you saw it?
I'd love to start. This is the first time I watched it, and it seemed like the goal was just to depress the audience. It didn't lead. They kept sprinkling breadcrumbs. I'll get to it later on, though. But all this time, like, oh, are they going to fix him? Is he going to find some blind woman that loves him for the beauty on the inside? Is it Hunchback of Notre Dame, too? No. None of that. It's just depression with a second helping of depression, and then it just ends with depression. I have a lot to say.
I didn't see any sun in this.
I watched this 3 times in 2 days, watched Blue Collar Loser stream of it today, and I was just furious the whole time.
Crap, bro. You saw this 3 times?
Yes, wow. Because I'm watching, like, oh, people seem to love this. Am I the problem? No.
Are you okay?
No, this definitely falls under the category of it's a great film, but you watch it like once every 5 years at the most. It's like one of those. The Passion of the Christ. Love that movie. It's one of the most beautiful movies ever made. Huge fan, but I can't watch it. Like it's hard. Mm-hmm. That's a tough one. And this is not as visceral or as brutal as that movie is, but it's just the same thing. You just, when you watch it, it just makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
But it is a great movie though. It honestly is. It's like it's a near perfect movie. But again, just tough watch. Mm-hmm. It's also weird that I don't know if you guys caught it when you were watching the credits and or if you guys did any background checks on this movie, but it's produced by Mel Brooks.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, and his production company basically they hired Lynch to direct it, and but it's very much a Mel Brooks production. John Lewis is his composer; he does the music to it. His Mel Brooks's wife, Anne Bancroft, she's in the movie. So
who's
yeah, she was the
actress or whatever.
Yes, the actress. Yeah, that was Mel Brooks's wife. So again, you watch shit like Young Frankenstein and Spaceballs, and it's like the dude behind that was behind this movie too. Makes
That's
it a
crazy.
little weird. Yeah.
How close was it to the source material?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I'm a little bit curious of why. I'll get to it later, but it's like I'm curious of why the surgeons didn't try to do anything.
Like why they didn't try to operate on him?
Well, Anthony Hopkins is a surgeon, so you would think that he's there to cut the growths off. I mean, for me, I think this movie would have made more sense, obviously, with the real life events taken out of it, if he was found by a priest or something, or just one of us that just say, whoa, this guy is deformed, I'll let him stay with me, versus the literal dude that can maybe fix him. Like you couldn't even chop up his lips so he can talk normal.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty ancient, right? I mean, you saw that was something kind of cool about this was you saw old medicine and the way things worked. What is this, like the 1800s?
Yeah, 1874, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
1894.
what are they able to do? I mean, is there any sort of plastic surgery or, deformity control? I don't know.
But
Yeah, I felt like they would be able to do
surgery.
something like that.
They
though.
showed surgery of him doing it, so that like the breadcrumbs, like, oh, he's gonna fix them. Oh, we got 30 doctors looking at his genitals. Is someone gonna take a look at this guy?
Right. And even if like they can't do anything, it's almost like just the surgeon's curiosity to see if they could,
Yeah, I'm a maverick. I would have taken a shot at it.
Yeah. I mean, but to be fair, that could have been like a plot point originally. Movies back then were like they were so streamlined. And like I hope you guys picked up on that while you watch this. There's like no fat on this movie, really, and that could have been something that was part of it, but it just kind of messed the pacing or whatever, and it could have been on the cutting room floor. Not saying it was, but perhaps that might have been one of the story threads that they just ultimately abandoned. I don't know.
When you say no fat, you mean like there's no wasted time?
Yeah,
right?
there's just no bullshit where you're watching it and you're like, they don't what is movies nowadays, they're just so like they're way longer than they need to be. And there's just no sense of pacing. Whereas back in the day, pacing was very important. And this movie is like when you watch it, it's refreshing to see something that's got that like old school expert pacing.
Yeah, it's not a slog to get through exactly either. Even though it's not exactly like a it's not fast moving at all. It's got this steady pace that is easy to kind of get lost in. I was surprised, I think it's like 2 hours and 2 minutes or something like that. And it went fast. I mean, it felt like a quick hour and a half for me. Yeah. What did you think about it, Ashley? Did this movie have any kind of impact on you the first time you saw it?
Oh yeah, I mean, there was a few times where I cried because I felt so bad for him. But like, I thought there was one point. Maybe I'm mixing it up with some other film, but I thought there was one point when they said they wanted to help him, but because of the severity of everything, it was like too much. Like the pain would be too much. I thought that I remember them saying that, but maybe it was just for like his spine or something, because you know how he couldn't like lay down properly and stuff like that. I think maybe it was that scene, but again, like how Joe was saying of just being a maverick and just going for it. Because I mean, that was basically when you could have been doing things like that, taking the risk. But at the same time, I was like, maybe they know the risk is too high and the pain's too much, that maybe they didn't want to make him suffer more. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like them just studying him, they just kind of knew their limits. Even if they were curious, they just knew like this is beyond our skill at this point.
Yeah, I mean that was the only thing I can remember. But man, I mean, it's pretty brutal to watch. But like you were saying about the whole lips thing, like make it easier for him to talk and things, like you could have done a little something for that,
Because he's living there for free, and they were having the conversation like, oh, we can't just let him live here. It's like, well, he is technically just here for free. It's like, wouldn't you want to do something? I mean, if this is the first place that does a surgery like this, like their funding is set for life if you cure this dude. Like you had the queen, whatever her name was, showing up and helping them pass the unanimous vote and everything.
I mean, you got to think his teeth as well. Like you could tell they were all rotted out of his mouth. I mean, that's just one thing. Like when they remove all of that growth, you still have to deal with all the dental hygiene, and that's it is
weird that they weren't able to do anything for him. That is strange. Yeah. I feel like there would be something there. And you're right, having all those like big fancy doctors around that are like the geniuses in the area, it obviously didn't seem like they were there to fix him. It was more like they were witnessing him as a specimen. I don't think they were thinking of ways to fix him.
I mean,
I didn't get that sense.
Were they doing the same thing that the Freak Show was doing, displaying him for everyone to see and showing him off?
That kind of became one of the themes of the movie. Is Anthony Hopkins was kind of realizing, shit, I've become that circus runner. You know what I mean? Which that's to me is like one of the more interesting aspects of the film. It's like Anthony Hopkins like questioning himself. I really like that, you know, because even though he's got the good intentions, he kind of does do that in a sense, and it kind of weighs on him. So I like that.
Here, let's go to we'll start with the first chapter here, opening up. So the film, it opens with a very strange instance here. It's sort of a nightmarish prologue where we follow a woman who's Merrick's mother, the Elephant Man, as she's being attacked by stampeding elephants amidst industrial smoke and a baby's cry. It kind of implies that, you know, there was some sort of traumatic cause for the Elephant Man's deformities in his birth, right? So that's sort of the reason. Very, very strange, visceral entrance I did not expect. As I said, I've never seen a David Lynch movie. But yeah, of course, here we are. We're in Victorian London, and we're introduced to the severely disfigured John Merrick, who is, you know, mostly veiled in the very beginning here. He's hooded and cloaked, and we get a good sense that he is just brutally exploited by, you know, the abusive showman, Mr. Bites, who is like the sideshow host. I mean, he is a total douchebag here. He has no regard or respect for the Elephant Man. And, you know, you just get the sense that he really doesn't believe him to be even human. I mean, he treats him worse than a dog. And once you get a sense, or once you see his living situation, it's kind of unfathomable. But we get quite a few instances here of abuse. And thankfully, you know, an unlikely hero stumbles into the midst. Like, why Anthony Hopkins is there, you know, the surgeon, Dr. Treves. It's kind of shocking because he's, you know, a good, willing dude, and he finds himself at the freak show, and he gains a curiosity for what the Elephant Man is. And on the side, he pays for a private viewing and is introduced to him, and is utterly horrified by what he sees. And from that point forward, he sees that this is a special case that definitely deserves his attention, even though in the very beginning, it's kind of cloudy to know what his intentions are with the Elephant Man, which, you know, makes it pretty interesting start for our story. Don't really know what to expect from our character in this very opening scene. So why do you guys think that Anthony Hopkins, Dr. Treves, was interested in pursuing the Elephant Man from the start? Because, like, he didn't even, in the very beginning here, he didn't even see the Elephant Man. He didn't hear the Elephant Man. You know, he sees like the show, or like this appearance here shut down. And from that point forward, he was curious. He hasn't even seen him, yet he wants to know what's his deal. Why do you think that was?
I think you said it perfectly. Just curiosity. You know, you're walking around there, you're seeing things you've never seen. All these people with different deformities, like an Elephant Man. What exactly is that?
Yeah, and to top it off, he is a surgeon too, so he's probably curious, like, you know, if a person was like that, why is their body like that? He's just thinking about it like from a anatomical position.
No compassion. That's weird. I got a sense. I thought he was being kind of compassionate. Like, I felt like he had, like, there was an instance of care and interest in, like, the well-being of the person.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think that overall it's not like he meets John Merrick and that makes him become a good man. I think that he probably always was a good man, you know, and like that's part of you could say that's also part of what the curiosity that drove him to like want us to see the Elephant Man, you know. I don't know.
What do you guys think? So something I thought it was a great entrance to seeing what the Elephant Man looked like. Once, you know, he's taken, you know, the doctor here, the surgeon, is taken through that, like, geez, it's literally like a haunted house. Like, you pay to go to those haunted houses where you walk through and, you know, it's wet, it's damp, it's gross, dark, abandoned, just totally mistreated space. And that's where this guy is living, the Elephant Man. And you see him, and man, it is a vulnerable moment. You see him without his shirt on and anything. And I was really surprised by just how, I don't know, pungent of an introduction that character was. It wasn't anything. They weren't hiding anything. It was very raw and visible. And I feel like he gave such an interesting reaction, and it was like kind of brief, but we spend maybe 10 seconds staring at his face, and he doesn't look like he's disgusted. He looks like he's feeling other things. What did you guys take away from his immediate reaction, if you remember?
I thought it was perfect.
I think he was more curious.
Mm-hmm.
I love the stare when he's just staring at the Elephant Man, and you just kind of see the eyes water up a little bit, just the absolute shock of what he's seeing. But I also think that maybe they did themselves a little bit disservice by showing us him that early.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of shocked by that.
Yeah, but because they showed him right there, and then they showed just the silhouette of him with all the other doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first time we should have seen him fully would have been when the nurse screamed. But it's like, well, we already saw him before, so kind of ruined it for me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I kind of saw that he, like you said, his eyes were watering a little bit. You can kind of see that he sees something that nobody else sees in him, like that he's human, and he sees hope in this guy. He sees that there's a way to help this guy out.
Well, I just think that you see the brilliance of Anthony Hopkins on display. Like, just from a technical standpoint, I don't know if you guys noticed, but that particular shot, it's a dolly shot, so the camera's like back, and then it pushes in on him, and then like literally as soon as the camera stops on his face, that's when the tear rolls down. So it's like as a performer, he timed it perfectly with the camera move. It's like, it's really good. And like, that's crazy. That's something only a screen actor understands and knows. He knows the camera move. He knows what the shot's kind of going to look like, and he knows exactly when to drop the tear. And he's like, he basically had that on command to be able to do that. That's like the thing that all actors want to do is like cry on camera, but like little, few actors, I believe, really know how to do it right. But obviously, he's one of the greatest actors of all time, and like that shot just shows that.
Absolutely, it was, which is probably even more shocking to me that years later he was in Transformers: The Last Night. How did that happen?
What?
That is called a paycheck, dude.
Yeah, like what?
Hey, he did a good job in that.
I guess, but it's not this. Like what Matt said was perfect. Like, it's zooming in on his face and he cries at the exact moment. That was probably my favorite scene of the entire movie. It's just him staring.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you see it all on his face, and like we're discussing what we think he's thinking in that moment. But you also don't have to. Like, you see that shot, and it's just like such a beautiful reaction that even if that goes undiscussed, that's cool. He's great. And like when you see this movie and you realize, like, geez, like he really is one of the all-time greatest for sure.
I got that feeling too. I've only, what have I seen him in? Gosh, I hate to say it. I've seen him in Transformers.
You've seen Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs, of course. Okay. I've seen Red Dragon.
Rebel Moon.
I haven't seen Rebel Moon, as Emperor Goodwin says in the chat.
I know. We should make it a weekend of that one.
Yeah, no thanks. We discuss quality films here, where Joe. Quality, highest quality.
Zack Snyder crying right now.
But yeah, I was impressed. I was really impressed. This was when I told the guys, I was like, Anthony Hopkins is just fascinating. I was really, it just seems like so one of a kind. Like, it's him, you know what I mean? And this is a performance unlike any other I've seen. It feels so real. It feels so utterly real and raw, and it's completely believable. There's not a single moment where I don't believe that Anthony Hopkins is playing this character and is feeling all of the feelings that he's feeling. It just felt really real like that. And geez, I mean, that's a wonder, right? That's a wonder of the world. And I can see why he gets so, praised all the time. I mean, I've heard about him forever. And I think when people discuss, top 10 best actors, he's always in the lineup. And it makes sense, and I'm excited to see more with him. It makes me want to go and watch some of his other classics, because it was also weird seeing him in a younger role, right? I'm used to old man Anthony Hopkins, and I don't really know his younger roles that he's famous for. You guys have any on mind?
Well, he like really hit his stride when he was older, when he did Silence of the Lambs. That's when he was sort of like a late bloomer. He was always around, and he's He's a English
Welsh,
theater
right?
actor. He's a theater actor. So, and like that's the other thing too, is I think that most actors that are from England or over there across the pond, they have this tendency to, even when they're in films, they kind of overdo it. Like they're acting like they're Shakespearean, like they're in a play or something. But he's always maintained this like very naturalistic way of performing. But at the same time, he's got like these Anthony Hopkins isms that he puts in things, like just the way he delivers lines, the way he takes pauses, the way he looks at people. Very unique to him. But I would say, I mean, like I have kind of some hot takes when it comes to some British actors. Like, look, Ian McKellen, great. I like him. Gandalf, wonderful. Magneto, cool. But he does have those moments where it's like, dude, you're not in a play, man. Chill. You know,
Too theatrical.
Too theatrical, but too British theatrical. Anthony Hopkins does not have that. He is just like a very naturalistic actor. I would say he's one of the earlier actors to adopt that sort of like low key screen performance, where it's more just like in the stillness of the performance and in the eyes, rather than just like you know.
Yeah, that's weird when they're able to even like convey emotion through eyes. I think that's the craziest thing. Like, how do you even do that? Like, that is so raw and real that you can't even really fathom how you're able to perform in that way. And not really many others come to mind. You know, I recently saw Sounds of the Lambs in the theaters again, and especially on the big screen, and you get a really close-up shot of him. Like, his eyes are just crazy. It is so crazy how much you can read in his eyes, and how there's really no other gaze quite like that. And then, you know, his in that is so, over the top evil, right? And bashful. But this one, it's so much more compassionate and loving. It's the polar opposite of Silence of the Lambs is Hannibal Lecter. So definitely a breath of fresh air in that facet. What do you think it is? Because I think, you know, despite being like deformed physically, and we could get into the physical deformities as well, there's something that is just really touching about the Elephant Man, especially like, even though we don't get to know him too well. I want to like touch on this more so in the introduction here. What is it about his character that you just feel pity for beyond his physical deformities? Because I felt like there was something about him in this entrance that was sort of like undertoned. It wasn't that prevalent because we didn't get, we don't hear him speak, and we don't really see his humanity until about halfway through the movie. But I felt like in this introduction, there was still more to be seen with him and more to feel from him. So what do you think that is?
I don't know. I just got a sense of that because he's been through so much, and you can tell that he's been through so much, especially being in the freak show or whatever, is that you can tell like immediately that this dude has definitely been humbled by life. You know what I mean? Just because not just his deformities, but the way that people treat him. So it's almost like, you know, like indistinctively that this guy is probably going to be one of like the sweetest people that you'll meet. And obviously he kind of is once you finally get to know the guy, and you just feel for him because you're just like, this guy has gone through it, not just physically, but from just the abuse that he's already, his introduction was just like, you already feel bad for him. So it's like, oh, he's definitely humbled. I don't know. I just I got that sense.
No, that's great. Yeah.
I mean, he's been treated like an animal his whole life. And so he's going to naturally act like an animal. And I think that's where he is in the very beginning of this. Like, he's just so used to people treating him like he's a freak and like he's the Elephant Man, that it's like alien for anyone to have like a conversation with him. So when Anthony Hopkins takes a liking to him and like starts talking to him, like it takes a bit for him to like transition into that, because he's never been treated like a human being before.
Yeah, he's got to build the trust with them. And I think that it shows pretty well, like, because I mean, not that I'm disagreeing with that, because it is true. Like, he was very much treated like an animal. And I mean, you're in just protect mode, you know what I mean? But at the same time, once he finally lets the guard down and he finally finds somebody he can trust, it's like, okay, yeah, he is quite humble. But I mean that in like a really like yeah, I don't know. I just really felt
Humble's
for the
like
guy.
being generous, right? It's like so low. I don't even know what you call that.
I know, right?
Like
That's
at
why I'm just
rock
like,
bottom.
yeah.
That's
Pretty much at rock bottom.
yeah.
I think it's more than that too. I think he's constantly in performance mode too, because as soon as Anthony Hopkins shows up, he has to
Good point.
stand up, turn around, show him everything. So maybe when he was even going with him to the place, he's like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to do another 10 shows too and have people throw tomatoes at me and laugh at me.
Like hearing you guys talk about it, it's kind of making me feel like, it took him a little bit to warm up to Anthony Hopkins. And at first, he wasn't really giving him much, like communication wise, probably because when he's showcasing him to all his doctor buddies, that's not much different than the other performances that he's been subjected to this whole time. That kind of just hit me thinking about that now. It was kind of equally humiliating. It really wasn't a respectable gesture at all. And it really didn't seem like he wasn't giving off any vibes that he actually cared about him there. He was using him again. So yeah, that's quite interesting. One more question before we get to all the chats. We appreciate all you guys talking to us in the chat. Something like, I don't think it's like all that surprising, like considering history, but when you watch this, it's kind of shocking to see just how merciless a lot of these Victorian English people were, as they, berated and devalued the Elephant Man. Why do you think that was? Why do you think everybody just looked like had no regard for the people in the freak show? Because, you look at the rest of the freaks and really they're not that bad, first off. And when you go through that tour and when Anthony Hopkins is walking through the tent and he's looking at people and the other freaks, they're kind of playing along with it. It looked like they were sort of giving a performance. But when you look at the Elephant Man, of course, he is the absolute butt of the joke. And people responded that way. And I'm kind of wondering, like, why do you think that was the case?
Well, there was no internet back then. So like we've all seen like fantastic, weird, gross, whatever things on the internet because we just have access to it. But back then, like, first of all, there was like probably 1 in a million people that would end up looking like him. So you would go through your whole life without seeing anything remotely that freaky. So when I think that like, because the movie does this thing where when women see him, they like scream and like they cry because they're so horrified. And that's not necessarily even them being mean. It's just like they're genuinely being freaked out because they've never seen anything like that ever in their lives. So it's like lack of exposure. People just didn't see weird things like that day to day. And now it's like it's just all hitting you at once. But there's that actor that has like the same issue that John Merrick had. He's in that Scarlett Johansson movie, Under the Skin. He has like the Elephant Man syndrome or whatever.
Was he in A Better Man too? Was it that guy?
Yes,
he might have been. He might have been.
Okay.
Yes, that's him. Yeah, that guy. I still feel like if you saw him down the street, you'd be like, "Whoa,"
Yeah.
Maybe not as
you can't even help it. It's just like
exactly. Yeah,
shocking response.
It's not even like because like even Anthony Hopkins' wife, like she had no, she didn't have any hard feelings towards him or anything, but even it was hard for her to look at him. Like if you're a good person, you'll do your best to like look past it, but still, like it's just kind of horrifying to see.
I would have loved to see him coaching his wife before she met him. It's like, honey, listen, he looks really bad. It's like, it's okay, honey. It's like, no. He looks really bad. Just do your absolute best. Take your contacts out.
That sounds like you, Romer Joe. That's what you'll say to your wife if I ever visit. Just be nice. Be nice.
Yeah, don't say anything at all.
Yeah, but you would have to say, imagine my nutsack being stung by a bee. That
Thanks. That sounds about right. Thanks. Appreciate that. All
My
right,
wife
let's do
thought
it.
this was. My wife was questioning. She was like, "Oh, is this the Rocky Dennis movie?" I'm like, "No, it's not. It's just someone else."
Is that the 82 one?
No, that's a different one. Yeah, it's weird that there's a second Elephant Man that came
Yeah.
out 2 years later. It's like with Death at a Funeral. They made a British one and they made a all Chris Tucker black one 2 years later with the same Peter
I gotta
Dinklage.
see that one.
Oh, it's a fantastic.
I love Chris Tucker. He's one of my favorites.
Chris Rock. Sorry.
Oh, Chris Rock. I don't care about him. I like Chris Tucker. No. Our friend Mega Spider-Man for €2. Thank you very much, Mega. We appreciate you always. Favorite John Hurt film and why? Favorite David Lynch film? I don't think I've seen any John Hurt movies.
Well, John, that's easy. Alien.
Hellboy.
Alien. Come on.
Yeah,
Who's
John
he
has
in
been a lot of
Hellboy?
good stuff.
He was the father, the old guy. John Hurt's only been old. That's why I'm so surprised. Like seeing this movie, like a young John Hurt, but he's covered in a mask the entire time. I've only seen him as an old man.
You guys would know him from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was about to say
Also
he's
an
the
old
guy that.
These guys sells him the wand.
Yeah, he's
John
he's
Hurt.
that guy.
Oh. Okay.
And
Oh, he's in Alien. Oh,
he's
yeah.
He's the guy in Alien.
Okay,
He's the guy in Alien,
yeah.
but the alien comes out of his chest. That's him.
Yeah.
That he's.
All right.
he's,
Well, that's probably my favorite John Hurt film then. Alien.
yeah. There you go.
That's right.
Of course
That's a
it's
good
Alien.
one. I love Alien. This was
And-
great, but it's not bad. Oh, he's in Snowpiercer as well. I love Snowpiercer.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
That's a good one. Oh, you don't like Snowpiercer?
I didn't like it.
The children's room was right next to the poor people.
Dude, that
Who
movie's
designed this
bullshit.
thing? And the crack addicts are next to the conductor.
Nice.
Oh, that's
He's
awesome.
been in a lot of good stuff. Indiana
Contact's
Jones,
good.
Hellboy,
Yeah.
Contact.
He's not in a good Indiana Jones movie, so that's unfortunate.
Dang.
That was a fun one.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so
he's
so
got a lot
that's
of good ones.
everybody's favorites then. Thanks.
Well, David
thanks,
Lynch
Megan.
movie would be mine's probably Mulholland Drive.
Same. I love Mulholland Drive.
Wow.
Blue
I love
Velvet's
coming-
up there too.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
See,
Mhm.
I love coming on these streams, but at the same time, I am exposed because I am not a cinephile whatsoever. When I
Oh.
heard David Lynch, I'm like quickly just Google. I was like, I don't know any of these movies at all.
That's
I've heard
fair
he
enough.
died
He's a
recently,
trip.
didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yep.
shame. Didn't he have a disease or something, or he got like an illness?
Yeah, he smoked.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
about to say because he was smoking.
Didn't he want? I thought he was like he was like housebound, like he couldn't leave his house.
Maybe.
for, like, the
Or
last
was that
year.
something he had? But he wanted to direct, like virtually. Is that him? Maybe I'm mixing him up with somebody
I mean,
else.
that sounds like something he'd want to do.
Right,
Yeah.
it does.
Like he wanted to keep directing. Somebody could correct me in the chat. I'm probably wrong.
He
I
did
don't
the
know.
original Dune movie too.
He did the
Mhm.
original
Yeah.
Dune, yeah.
Oh, looks like our friend Ian Morrison's here. Good to see you, Ian. Such a great performance from John Hurt and Anthony Hopkins. Oh yeah,
100%. Some of the
definitely.
best performances of all time.
Oh, Pridefall says, "Damn, Joe, this one must have hit you in a personal spot. You good, man? Yeah, you watched it 3 times. That is crazy, bro.
Because I had to see if I'm missing something here.
3 times in a week?
In 2 days, I texted
Oh
you. I'm
my
like, quick, which one am I
gosh.
supposed to be watching? I'm kind of curious what the 1982 one is like.
It's
probably
okay.
Duke.
It's not too bad. I don't
let's-
mind it.
Huh. Pridefall says, saw a movie inspired by David Lynch called Twixt yesterday. Super weird. Definitely gonna have to watch it again just to make sure I've got a good handle on it.
Yes.
Never heard of that one.
That has Elle Fanning in it.
Oh, I don't care about her. I don't get out.
Yeah.
Wait, which I think it was a Coppola that did that movie. Twix.
Oh.
Let me
Good.
see. Yeah, it was Francis Ford Coppola.
I
It's
love
a
him.
very odd movie for him too.
Was that the one he made before Megalopolis? Whatever that-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
this
like-
one came
okay.
out in like 2011.
Okay, so that is that might be the last one he did before that, because I know there's a huge gap.
Dang, that's
between
crazy.
movies.
Yeah,
I haven't
he's
seen
doing
it.
weird movies.
Oh,
Yeah,
looks
he
like our
is.
friend Boca's here. What's up, Boca? He's a member. Thanks for your
really?
support, Boca. We appreciate you as always. Ian says some movies like The Passion in this film are meant to make you feel uncomfortable. If you watch it too often, it loses the effect it's supposed to have. World War Joe.
That's probably what happened. I watched it too many times. I was too big of a fan of it.
Oh, let's see what Parkfile says here. For $5. Thank you, Parkfile. Much appreciated. The prosthetic head John Hurt wore was made from the real Elephant Man's death mask. Wow.
What?
22 pieces that took 12 hours to apply each day. Death
Wow.
mask? Did they do like a mold of his head or something?
That's what it
Probably.
sounds like.
Wow. That's crazy.
Why would it take that long?
That's messed
I don't
up.
understand prosthetic makeups with that. It's
Oh,
like, it looks like it all looks
especially especially back then. Like, it wasn't. Now they have it dialed in. They could probably do the same job in like 2 hours, but back then, yeah, like that makes sense.
I thought it would have been mostly like a suit you put on. No?
I mean, some of it is, but like the actual facial prosthetic, yeah, that's that was probably like 7 different parts, or like he says, 22 different pieces. Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
Yeah, but how long do you film after that?
that.
Because he's not taking that off. They're not doing one reshoot and that's it.
No, it's a
You sleep in it.
European. They probably
Yeah.
they made it over there in Europe, I believe,
Oh,
and
that-
they're pretty strict about their schedule, especially back then. So it probably was like an 8-hour day for him.
Damn, what if
Wow.
he could even like sleep sitting down? Like he had to probably sleep just like the Elephant Man, or he'd suffocate himself.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see. I see our friend Emperor Goodwin. Good to have you, Emperor Goodwin. Good to see you. Long time no see. He's responding to something earlier. I can't remember, but it sounded interesting. Surgeons of that era could become famous when they found the most novel affliction. Yeah, so I guess Goodwin thinks that's why he got invested in the Elephant Man. Sort of, prop him up, become more famous from it. Is that what you're saying, Goodwin? Sounds
Or
like.
maybe not famous, but just like more respected in your medical community. That could also be it too.
I don't think
Yeah,
he was
that's
doing this
terrible.
stuff
What the hell was he doing in Rebel Moon? Man, that is insane.
earning that money.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's just his voice. He just showed up for like 3 hours in a recording studio and was like, "You want me to say this shit? Fine." And then collected his paycheck and went home.
Oh, Jane Dolette, 1771. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all having an awesome day. Thanks,
Same to
Jane
you,
Doe.
Jane.
Hello.
Appreciate you, Jane. Thank you very much, as always. Let's see. Good stuff. You aren't reusing those prosthetics because they're foam rubber and will absorb sweat. Oh, man.
Ugh.
Wow, that's crazy. Like making the prosthetics over and over again. Yeah, okay, good. Park File is confirming. Death masks were often created by making molds from people's heads shortly after death. That is crazy.
It's like, quick, he died. Get the plaster.
Okay, then Park
We
File
need to
for
remember
$2.
this freak.
He says, I DM'd you a couple of photos of the EM. Not sure what that
Elephant.
means, but I'll
Elephant
take a
Man.
look here soon. I'll take a look here soon, Park File. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll take a look. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's get on to the we'll say one last chat here. Emperor Goodwin. Treve says in the film that his association with John has brought him fame and opened doors in society for him when he has his crisis of conscience. Oh, okay. Interesting. Cool. Thanks, man. Great. Let's move on to the second part here, and I will look at what Proctofile was trying to show me. So we're in chapter 2 already, 2 of 6. We got 6 chapters, everybody. After Merrick, who is the Elephant Man, John Merrick, is savagely beaten by Bites, who is the stupid sideshow host. Dr. Treves has him brought to the London hospital, and nurses, they are pretty freaked out by the sight of him, despite being, caregivers. They are just absolutely overwhelmed by the shock of how he looks. And the hospital governor, who is Car Gom, he, initially is kind of like off put by it. He doesn't really want him in the hospital because he's incurable. But, Dr. Treves, Anthony Hopkins, he makes some pretty compelling cases to kind of support John Merrick's inclusion in the hospital. And a big way he does that is by kind of teaching and coaching John Merrick to be more, to communicate better and to speak his mind and to show that he is a human after all, because communication is very difficult for this time. And thankfully, John Merrick is starting to warm up to him, and you start to see just how broken he is so far, that he has a very hard time trying to simply say very minimal words. But eventually he's able to break through and get to him. But it takes quite a bit of coaching to get to that point. So, before we get to this breakthrough where the Elephant Man starts to speak and behaves more normally like a human, he kind of acts pretty strange. And I mean, it's totally believable. You know, it makes sense why he is a little more feral in the beginning. I mean, there's no reason for him to be any different. I mean, he's been treated feral his whole life. He has no liberties, no freedoms. He doesn't have any room to be himself or to be expressive or to act like a human. He's so devalued by society. Why would he? And I kind of felt like the way David Lynch introduced him and kind of like, you know, displayed his behaviors and habits, I got the feeling that he was trying to make us skeptics, because I felt like a skeptic in this very beginning. If I didn't know anything about this movie, based off of watching his strange behaviors, his gargles, his noises, the way he stands up or bends around or acts, the way he doesn't communicate, he doesn't really seem human. Do you think David Lynch was trying to make us question his humanity in this beginning, or am I just tripping balls?
I don't think you're tripping. I was also very confused throughout this movie, especially the part where he's like, you can read. He's not really an elephant. He's a person that was just pretty much born in the darkness. Like, I know agua and baño, but if you drop me in Mexico, in a week I'll learn some of the language. Like, this guy never had a book before. He never had the any opportunities. Like, of course he can't read.
Nice. That's friendly. Do you guys have any thoughts? Did you feel that way at all, or no?
I think it just goes. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Luke.
You know, he had to get to the basics first with this guy. You know, he couldn't even nod. You couldn't. I was questioning whether he even understood English, or I didn't even think he spoke English at first. I thought, you know, he was, you know,
well, that would have been interesting.
He's only 21 years old, and he's, you know, he's been an practically treated like an animal his whole life. So when he was talking to him, he was kind of just gurgling, like you said, and not really seeming to understand anything he was saying, because he was having troubles with having him nod. So, I had trouble seeing how the humanity of this guy was going to come out, like you said. Yeah. But after a while, I know we'll get into it, it quickly started erupting and progressing as he was in the room with them, because I think he was opening up to Hopkins, or sorry, what's his doctor's name?
Dr. Treves.
Yeah, Dr. Treves. He was one of a kind to this guy. He was, you know, he had that compassion, empathy, you know, in the sadness for this guy, so he was able to open this door for him.
You know, that's funny. That would have been interesting if he couldn't even speak English, if he spoke like another language. You know, you make a good point. He's 21 years old, which is crazy. He looks like an older dude, obviously, but yeah, he's super young. Why would anyone have taught him English or speaking? Like, why? Right? I mean, his mom, I don't think his mom was ever present in his life. We don't really know his past too much. I guess that would be interesting to learn what the real guy went through, because I doubt he was like born into this freak show. But yeah, there's nothing really to suggest that he should have learned, you know, communication skills, but he does obviously know how to communicate. And you're right, it was deceptive in the beginning because he wasn't even nodding, right? I mean, if he was nodding at the very least, that would show that, you know, there is definitely some understanding. But no, didn't get any resemblance of that.
I think because the only thing he knows is that stick. That's the only command that he knows, is when the guy raises a stick and hits him and tells him, gives him orders and stuff like that. So he's in a new place and this guy's not beating him, so maybe he doesn't know how to respond.
I just thought it was like a protective, like a defensive, like mechanism. Yeah, I'm not saying that, you know, he was like, oh, you could just read type thing, but like, I always thought that the way he was acting, because like, if you've ever seen like people who have like self-isolated for years upon years, and they kind of just forget how to human interaction type deal. but it's there. It just has to be processed, kind of like how he was going through with Anthony Hopkins of learning type thing. I'm not saying the dude knew how to read or anything, but I always just thought his gurgling and stuff is because, one, he didn't really know language. He probably just knew the words that the carnival guy would say to him or hit him with or whatever, you know, whatever people were degrading him with. He probably knew that, but I just thought that him doing the noises, the animal noises, was just a defensive mechanism to keep people away because people hated him so much because of the way he looked. You know what I mean? I understand everything else, and like it was weird how he just like instantly caught on to everything. But I was like, just because he looks like that doesn't mean he's stupid.
Yeah.
you know? But it is weird how quickly he caught on to reading.
Is he?
Well, yeah. So we believed, like Edward Goodwin says, he could read and did. John says so. Yeah, we know he can. We're just talking about in the intro here because there wasn't really any reason to believe that, you know, he could until, you know, he says so later. We're just talking about the intro. Good one.
Yeah,
is he gurgling because the fact that his mouth can't close? I think that's the only reason he's making that sound. I can't recall him closing his mouth.
Well, he can't breathe, you know? I mean, he's got... Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many... Like, I thought it was interesting how he's sort of introduced as, like, a monster a little bit. Kind of like a Frankenstein, like a universal monster. The way he moved. You know, his body, it's so interesting. Like, the way it's sort of, like... It's very broad and big, especially in these robes. I mean, looking at this picture here, this looks like a universal monster. And the way he moves, the noises he makes, he's only got one arm out. He kind of stumps around. That doesn't sound like a human.
It kind of sounds like Frankenstein.
Yeah, literally. So, I mean, it's like, you know, it's an interesting way to set up our hero that we're supposed to, you know, later feel empathy for. And I think it's pretty masterfully done because, you know, we're sort of put in the we sort of understand the perspective of people that are kind of freaked out by him because we see firsthand that he is, you know, unfortunately pretty freaky for a lot of different reasons. But obviously deep down, he's a great guy. And we slowly get to understand that through Anthony Hopkins' perspective. It's great. I love this outfit, by the way. I see this and it's very like, for whatever reason, when I see it, I think of like Shakespearean opera and it just seems so bold and vivid. But, you know, at the end of the day, he's not really like that. You know, he's very suppressed and all of this is really just there to fail him. But I see this and it's like, when I look at him, it looks theatrical and it looks like this is like a performance attire, like in this picture. That's sort of what I was almost expecting watching this for some reason. And obviously that was not the case at all. So definitely nobody should go in with that expectation. I don't know why anybody would. But so do you think like why do you think it was that that these nurses, you know, I thought it was kind of funny. These nurses they're there to care for their patients. And I imagine they've seen a lot of crazy cases, you know.
Not that freaky though.
No, they have not seen that yet.
Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like they've probably seen, you know, guys who've been through war.
But it's one thing to like earlier. It's one thing to see like
blown open.
It's one thing to see like someone's chest blown open or whatever. They know that person was like whole at one point and looked like a normal human being. But again, no one's ever seen anything like this before. So it's like they're seeing a monster for the first time. And there's no movie makeup, nothing back then. You know, like this is the first time they're seeing anything like this. And it's like horrifying. So, you know, and as the movie progresses, obviously the nurses, they get to know him and like everyone starts to love him, you know, but in the beginning, it's like they're like I said before, they're not trying to be like heartless people or mean or evil, or you know, trying to make fun of him. It's just their genuine reaction, and it's unfortunate. It's sad, but you know, I'm sure there's that curiosity that they all have too, you know, but it's horrifying to them. But then of course, they start to get to know him and they start to really love him.
It's just a very degrading feeling. Like just the people who are supposed to be taking care of you just scream and run away.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah, no, I mean it is. Like that's what
incredibly
this
degrading.
that's what this movie shows you, though. It's like sad because at the end of the day, like it really just comes down to the way he looks,
Yeah.
and like it's how we are as human beings. If someone is like ugly, like it's messed up. But like there's just something about us in our nature to recoil at things like that. And it's sad.
It's also the fact that when they scream, he looks over and screams too. So you got this not human sounding scream. Then he flails, and you got the arm trunk going. It's not like he's going, "Oh, good heavens, madam! I'm sorry I scared you." It's like a roar. So
Yeah, it's like
even worse.
It's like when people scream at ET in the movie ET. It's like the same thing.
See, that's a monster, Matt. It's an alien monster.
I mean, they kind of look similar, just like opposite.
Yeah. Nice. Something I found fascinating, like throughout the whole movie, was the sideshow host and his involvement. He is such like sick scum, right? I mean, he's total scumbag, evil, easy to hate him, right? And we're not exactly talking about later in the movie yet, but in this introductory period when he just keeps latching himself to John, even when he is under the comfort of Anthony Hopkins, he continues to prowl around. And it's so funny how slimy he is and how he's able to sneak his ass into his situation. What sort of value do you think his character brings to this story? Because I feel like he adds a lot to this movie.
Yeah, he's like the key abuser, like of all time. You know how like when people have been in domestic, abusive situations, he is the epitome of that. He just keeps coming back because he's getting more out of it than obviously the Elephant Man, because he's losing money, once he leaves. So yeah, when you watch that and you've watched other movies or you've known people who have been in those situations, you're just like, he is literally the epitome of an abuser. It's just like, come back, I'll give you more cookies type deal. It's like, no, dude, get away from me.
Like in the top 10 most punchable villains of all time, like he's up there.
Yes.
He's up there with like Percy from The Green Mile and Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. Like he's up there. Like this guy's a dirtbag. You love to hate him, because he's just a scumbag.
Well, it's funny. I think his character, he just prowls around. He makes everything worse, right? And especially like, we're going to get to that other character who is equally as bad later on. And I think something that adds to it is like, you see him in the very beginning. He is he's the source of most of the pain that the Elephant Man is experiencing. It's really all his fault. I mean, he's the one showcasing him and making a show of him, right? And then finally somebody comes into the picture to help him out. And the guy who's helping him out is actually still accommodating to the dickhead. He really is. I mean, he's not trying to steal him from him. He at first tries to work with him, but that doesn't work out. And then later on, of course, when finally John Merrick is, given some love, and, John isn't a character. He doesn't hate this guy. He doesn't, it doesn't seem like he looks back on these moments. He doesn't reflect on the bad treatment he had from him. We don't get any sign of that at all in this movie. And yet he continues and he returns again to ruin everything and make it worse yet again. And really, I mean, because of him, he deteriorates him far enough to die soon after. And, when you have like the villain come back to further ruin your hero's life, it's hard to come back from that, right? And I don't think there's too many examples of a really potent evil quite like this. And it's not like all that visual, like he doesn't physically harm him very much here, but the psychological torment and the emotional weight that he puts on poor John Merrick's shoulders, it's just so obvious. And you see later on, it's really hard towards the end when you see the damning effects it has on John Merrick, because he just quickly deteriorates after he's taken to be part of the freak show yet again. And that's all because of him. He did that, even though he was on his high rise. So sad. Yeah, really sucks. But, he made everything interesting, right? I mean, you were just kind of always wondering when he was going to show up again, because he was the kind of guy that's very possessive, like you said, Ashley, like the typical abuser situation, right? He wants to keep coming back. And, I don't think there'd be any way we were comfortable with him being like even anywhere near the background unless he was dead. We'll be happy when he's dead, because then he won't be prowling around. Until then, we got to worry that he may surface like he did in this. And that adds a good amount of tension, right? And it makes things just a little more thrilling, because you never know when the story can crack like it did.
Shouldn't we have gotten something where the bad guy gets his comeuppance in the end or something like that?
What I hope for.
Couldn't we have gotten
I can't
something?
remember.
Some ounce of happiness you could have left me with?
Well, he lost all of his freak show.
Oh no,
That's
business
all. That's
is
his
ruined.
livelihood.
So have the Elephant Man stomp him with his tentacle hand or something.
That's
God,
nice.
the whole time I'm like, when are you gonna do something?
They
Like,
should have had
Anthony
the other
Hopkins
sideshow freaks release the baboon into that guy's cabin.
I was just about to say that.
something.
Yes.
Wow, that would
That'd
have
been perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot. I feel like there were so many things that they could have done with this movie to make it at least. You still could have gotten Santa, but at least have the bad guy lost, evil was defeated.
That's true, but that's like that's how movies are done now. Like that just wasn't like a thing back then. It's just that's what you'd expect in a movie nowadays.
I know, and Michael Bay took liberties with
You're so
Pearl Harbor
modern.
too,
You're so
but
modern,
it's
World War Joe.
still.
Very modern.
I want something happy in the end.
You want modern storytelling.
I'm watching this on a bootleg copy. I'm like, this movie's over. Is there not going to be like something else happening here?
Well, I think
did it look good?
Oh, it looked beautiful every time. Yeah, I was surprised.
I watched the 4K release, the Studio Canal 4K release. It looked great.
Isn't it amazing how
you have it? Wait, you have like a DVD of it?
I don't have. Oh well, I don't have the disc, but I have a 1-for-1. I've obtained a 1-for-1. So the Criterion edition's coming out in 2 months, and when that comes out, I'm gonna buy it. It's over. It's out in Europe, but here it's not out yet. So,
something you gotta respect about Ashley is she gets all the great 4Ks.
You
I
too?
always like seeing her post them on Instagram.
Nice.
I do buy a lot. Yeah, I had the Blu-ray of Elephant Man, but I sold it like a year ago because it was out of print, and I got some money for it because I was like,
how much?
There's no way it's not going to get a 4K because Mulholland Drive did and Blue Velvet did. So I was like, Elephant Man.
Both Criterion. Next. Yep, exactly.
Yep. So I was just like, I'll get the 4K then.
Did it sell for a decent amount?
Yeah, I sold it for over like $80.
What? Oh my gosh, that is insane. Wow.
Yeah, because it was
what a bunch of chumps.
It was in mint condition. So yeah.
Ashley, are you on Blu-ray.com?
Yeah, I do sometimes.
Do you have a profile on there?
I believe I do. I don't get on it as often.
Okay,
I do log my
What's that good
movies and
for?
stuff.
Blu-ray.com, first of all, if you go to Blu-ray.com, it shows on the front page Blu-rays that are on sale for this particular day. And then also though, you can basically keep track of all the movies you have on there.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
You can add it to your collection. And so you can if you're friends with other people on there, you could look at their collections too.
Yeah, I got a lot. I've actually downsized, but yeah, I got over 1,600 titles.
Very nice.
Oh,
I'm almost at 1,500. So
heck yeah.
Very nice.
Again, I am exposed as a fraud. As you guys have all your DVDs and stuff, there I am with a binder of all bootleg copies of horrible handwriting and stuff.
It still works. I have bootlegs.
You need to film. You need to do something on Instagram and show everyone your collection.
Okay.
Definitely want to see that. Please.
That's going to be a
How
lot
is
of
all
work.
these movies?
Do
you have a room for
these
just
things,
that?
This is 3 deep right here. This is all movies.
Oh, wow.
And then I have the rest of my just Blu-rays, like studio Blu-rays, and then my TV shows and stuff like that in the other room, and it's all it's not filling up the closet. It's like 2 shelves of closet.
That's so cool.
Yeah, my shelves are right here. You can't see them obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, you got to film it, Matt. We got to see.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
Do it.
And you got to explain to everybody why Buc-ee's is so great, because you were in a Buc-ee's cap.
I know. I'm like decked out in
shirt.
Buc-ee's.
That's
That was an accident, but I mean, I don't have to explain it. Like everyone just knows if you've gone there, you know. So
you know.
I'm glad you love it, because I love it too. It's great. Boica, he's providing some perspective here. He says, I've self-isolated for years, and I have a strong distaste for humanity for it. It only grows stronger. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
I want to isolate like you, Boica. You're inspiring me. Solid idea, zombie girl. Some people just become nonverbal to minimize the attention they might receive. Yeah, I get that. I feel that. Yes. Parkfall, I will look at the pictures here. Sorry, it's hard to manage everything once streaming. JR of Chicago. What's up, JR? Welcome to the channel. I was 10 years old and was allowed to watch certain horror dramas. Is this, I mean, would you call this a horror drama?
It has some elements of that, but overall, no. I mean, and mostly just because I know David Lynch and like his Lynchiisms, so I can kind of see them, and I'm kind of like, oh, that's him. It's like a little bit of a horror movie right there. But
yeah, there's a bits of that.
I mean, like in if you watch David Lynch movies, usually there's like this. He's really good at playing with sound design, and there's like always in the score and the sound effects like weird droning sound effects, and that happens in this movie too. But he almost gives it practical application. Like the hospital is like inside of a clock tower. So the droning that you hear is just the innards of the clock tower winding up. You know what I mean? Whereas in another David Lynch movie, it would just be some weird schlocky sound effects that are just going over the whole movie, you know? It's got this like very industrial sound to it that makes it kind of feel like a horror movie. And just like the way
super eerie.
Yeah, and the way they build up showing him, you know, is just like that's how they would do like what they would do in a horror movie, you know. So I think the elements are there, but I wouldn't go so far to classify it as a horror drama.
Here, real quick, Procfile. Here's the pictures he sent me. Look at that. Oof, jeez, that's crazy. That's the real elephant man. As a kid, I guess. That's crazy.
Well, he actually might be 21 right there, for all we know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it could be different development or something. Here, I got another one too. Let me put that one up. Let's see here. Thank you, Parkfile, for providing these. Wow, that's sad.
Man, even the skull had
the skull. That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, you can just tell his back's all screwed up. Man, something like they do a good job showing how uncomfortable he is. You know, I mean. Like the poor guy, he can't even lay down ever. He's probably never laid down before. Like, do we ever see him lay down except at the end?
No, I mean that's the whole thing. Like someone says that he can't because he'll die. We don't really know if that's true or not. But you know, he says things about it in the movie, and then of course the way it ends. So you just assume. Yeah.
Thanks for providing those Parkfile. Let's see here. Marky J 445. Thanks for joining us, Marky. We appreciate you. Men are monsters. Men, evil men. Men are the worst.
That's sort of the theme of the movie.
Men. Women is king. Oh, look at us questioning reality. Yeah, we do a lot of that on here. Let's see. The idea that a brilliant mind and sweet person could be imprisoned in the twisted mockery of the human form. Yeah. I mean, he is brilliant. It's fun. It's fun watching that and seeing how like artistically inclined he is. This is interesting. JR of Chicago also says the victims of Agent Orange have similar physical deformities. Wow. Yeah. Dang. Is that like mustard gas?
Kind of. It's what they used in Vietnam.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Sin's here. Hello, Sin. Good to see you.
No, Sin.
It's always a pleasure when Sin's on the channel. Can also track CDs and maybe some of the other formats on LibBib. Never heard of that before.
I should do that.
Proctophile's right. Don't lie to yourself, Brawler. Human connection makes life worth living. Look at that. So optimistic. So optimistic. Let's see. Oh, the London hospital has his skeleton. Wow. Imagine that. Oh, Plot Strikes Back. Our friend. What's up, man? How many tissues did you go through, Brawler? I didn't cry, man. I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to cry. Maybe it's because I wanted to cry and I didn't cry. I did tear up. I teared up. Let's see. What made me tear up? I teared up twice. The first time I teared up was when John Merrick, he when was that? When he visits Anthony Hopkins' home and he meets the wife, and she's so kind to him. He starts to tear up and he says, I'm sorry. A woman as beautiful as you has never been nice to me. And man, that teared me up. It just made me sad. Like crap. Like that one hit. And then hit the end made me sad too. When he, chooses to lay down and he looks over at a picture of his mom before he dies. That's something I think added such a great human element to this story as well, was his love for his mom, and he always spoke so highly of her, talking about how beautiful she was and how much he appreciated her, even though she wasn't in his life at all, right? And that's sort of all he had, and she wasn't even really there. But that was a really touching segment that I was so glad. That's something that was just special about his character too, was, he had this like perspective of life that was so free and vivid and optimistic, even though he was so bound by endless torment and pain and weight. And, his existence himself, if you think about it, I can't imagine he's comfortable at all. He's probably physically uncomfortable the whole time. All the sores, the weight of his head, it's so uneven. It's inhuman. You're not supposed to walk around like that. And then the poor guy can't even breathe right. I mean, if you think about it, if you can't breathe, you can't do a lot of things. If you can't breathe properly, you can't really talk. You can't move as well. You're just kind of constantly worried about your breath and trying to catch your breath all the time, nonstop, right? There's no rest in that. And I think, like, for whatever reason, I have a weird shortness of breath. And when that happens, it sucks. I can't talk. I can't really get over it. It's something I just kind of have to get through. But yeah, it's just something, it's something that is deteriorating. And his is the worst, right? Like, my stupid little shortness of breath. That's nothing compared to what he had to go through. Oh, and Emperor Goodwin says Brawler is a psychopath. Confirmed. Yeah, that's probably true. And you're wrong. They aren't. Those are different, Goodwin. I didn't cry. I teared up. They're the same thing. Crying is different, bro. Crying is me out loud crying. That's got to be different. Our friend Boica on Golden Pond made me tear up, even as much as I loathe the Fondas. I don't know what that is. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah, it's
Jane and Henry Fonda, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic tearjerker.
Yeah. It's a pretty good movie.
Didn't know there was another Fonda.
Yep.
This is interesting. Sin's Corner, as an asthmatic, can 100% identify with the panic-inducing feeling of not being able to breathe, probably. Brawler, have you ever been tested for asthma? No, I don't think I have that. I think we're good. It's not that often, but I appreciate your concern, Sin. Thank you very much. And then, I think we'll just move on to the next chapter here. I think we're about halfway through the story here, people. So bear with us. We got a lot more exciting content to discuss here. So, let's see here. We're in chapter 3. Definitely starts to heat up here a little bit in this chapter. He's getting a lot more curated attention here at this point from Dr. Treves, who is, Anthony Hopkins. And slowly he's starting to reveal his more gentle, articulate nature. When he goes through this like kind of transformative process of opening up and you know, becoming more human and speaking clearly, he has this really strong moment when he meets with the doctor who is, you know, sort of in charge of the hospital. He doesn't believe him. He kind of, it feels like everything is just being recited from his lips. It doesn't really seem like he is being authentic. He's going through a test of competence here, right? And he does something pretty shocking. He loses this test, really, because the doctor, the governor of the hospital, doesn't believe him. And as he walks out, he starts to recite the 23rd Psalm from memory. And it's a pretty moving moment that I think kind of reveals a lot. I'm excited to get into that. And, you know, that was sort of like an eye-opening moment for both characters, for, you know, Anthony Hopkins and the governor, the governing doctor there, who's in charge of the hospital, because, you know, he doesn't like, this isn't something he's talked to him about. This isn't something that he is, they didn't practice this. He just knew all of this. So that was saying a lot. And that gave them a lot of information to suggest that, yes, he's actually a pretty intelligent guy. And that secures his stay in the hospital. It's a pretty monumental moment, really. And this gives him, you know, the opportunity to have a place, a solace, safe place to thrive and live, right? It's not survival mode anymore. And this is when we start to understand who this character is more advanced. And we start to see that he is quite an artist, and he appreciates art, and he appreciates theater. And he's creating this beautiful paper model of the cathedral, and he is just kind of very eloquent with the way he speaks. And we just see that he's just very compassionate, and he really cares about art, and he has this really creative mindset that you wouldn't have guessed beforehand, because he hasn't had any outlet, any reason to speak these passions of his. And yeah, you see he's just very compassionate about that. And something also great about this sequence is that we see him beginning to form bonds with the staff. At first, everybody that sees him is really shocked by what they see, but they quickly learn to love him, and they quickly learn to embrace him. And we see that with the entire hospital staff, especially Mother's Head, which Goodwin mentioned earlier in the chat, that, you know, she's a very strange character at first, very off-putting, but she grows to sort of be like a matronly character in his life. But, you know, all of these nice things start to happen. And of course, something negative is about to spur out of control very soon afterwards. What do you think it is about the Elephant Man's initial struggle to speak and connect with Dr. Treves that is just so subtly depressing? Because when we first think about that first time he gets out of his shell, it just seems like there's a real struggle there. And for me, it hit me pretty deep.
I think he was scared because the only person he's really like been involved with his whole life abused him, like in every way possible, emotionally, like mentally, physically. So just to open yourself up to a whole, like whole new man, another man, it's very hard. You don't want to give him too much information about yourself, and afraid all of that's going to happen all over again.
Yeah, it just goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier about how, if you're just being treated like an animal your whole life, like that's how you're going to look at yourself, and that's what you'll believe about yourself. So yeah, it's like really just, it's so alien for people to treat him nice that he's just, or like another person that he's just like, it's foreign to him. He doesn't know how to really react. I do want to mention though, I love how, like Anthony Hopkins is like basically telling him what to say, just like, oh, like repeat what I'm saying to my boss, and like there's like this very gentlemanly way the boss is like, yeah, you're full of shit, and like you just like see the way they used to communicate with each other back then and how proper it was, and like even how Anthony Hopkins is like totally lying and he's full of it, but like there's like a proper way he's going about it. You just see like how proper everyone is, I really appreciated that, even though it's like nowadays you'd be like, yeah, dude, you're full of shit, man, but he calls him out differently. I just think that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like, I think that's funny you say that. I thought it was convincing enough. I mean, I guess it's sort of unraveled a little bit towards the second half of his like first
Well,
like,
that's
bit
just
of
it. Like
communication. But
the boss kind of knew, like, all right, I don't, okay, he can talk, sure, like that's like how he went into this, and I don't know, he just, to me, it's like he just knew that Anthony Hopkins was bullshitting him before they even walked into the room. I like that dynamic a lot. Just thought it was funny, like just seeing these two proper old school Englishmen, hash it out that way.
I felt like when I think about like his struggle to speak and whatever, he, his body, his anatomy doesn't support communication, which is so sad. Like, if you think about, our lips, our mouth, our eyes, our whole body is like made to communicate, right? In all sorts of ways. And really, there's nothing about his anatomy that supports communication. He can't really move his arms much. He can't, he's got those like sunken in eyes. His lips, his mouth is always open. He can barely connect his lips, and his teeth, his teeth are like busted out and corroded, like you said, Luke. There's no reason to like, really, there's just nothing going for him in that regard. And then, he's been so socially isolated for so long. There's just so many obstacles in his way to do the simplest human form of contact. And that's just so tragic to see that. And in this moment here, it's so prevalent. And that's something that's very, very unique. I've never seen that in a movie. I've never met a character who's had such a hard time communicating like this, except like, gosh, I can't think of anything. I mean, you can think of characters in history, like, Helen Keller, of course, and her struggle to communicate. But, in movies, I can't really think of anything. Nothing like this. So I don't know. Maybe that's just the way it impacted me. But that's something that really stood out when I saw this for the first time. What did you guys think? Because I thought John Merrick's like psalm recitation, I thought it was a really powerful moment. And I thought it was kind of transformative for both like the characters that were in the scene, as well as transformative for us as an audience watching it. What do you guys think made it transformative? What made it special in this situation? What did it reveal about John Merrick?
That he's so much more than just a deformed person, that he actually does speak. He can retain knowledge. He knows things. And like I said, they did not expect that and completely took him by surprise. Like, what else do you know?
Right. I think that they were just like, oh, that's a person. That's like the first time they realized that there was like a person underneath all of that,
And that's an incredibly silly thing to say, but yeah, absolutely. They did not see him as anything more. That's what I was saying before. It's like they were surprised to agree. It's like, well, he is a person. He could do this stuff. And like you said, they finally now see there is something else here.
I imagine how good it felt for him to open up and finally like act like a human in front of somebody, I imagine the relief he felt. So that's why he kept blabbing and he kept on like egging on to
that's a good point.
The doctor, yeah.
Huh. I thought like, when I something that touched me about it was, this is a guy that's so lost, and really he has nothing going on in his life that's positive at all, but yet he has faith, and we learn here that he reads his Bible every day, and that his faith sort of emboldens him and it gives him a reason to live. It really seems like that's the only reason he's still alive, and why he didn't choose to, make a choice to not live anymore, because of just how utterly tragic it is. And that's it's really encouraging to see that he's able to go through all of the hell that he goes through and still, have a level of faith and optimism like he does. And that's what this revealed, and that his character is deeper. And, even though he just endures so much hate and pain, he still has faith in God, who, gives him the strength through these trials. I mean, that's literally what this psalm was saying, to embolden me against my obstacles, and, praying for his enemies. That's sort of what he's doing in that, by reciting that psalm. And that's a powerful moment. That definitely, that really kind of woke me up a bit. I was like, man, crap, this is some serious stuff here. What did something else I liked about his character, and maybe it came down to his faith. I thought his faith was like, it was a subtle charm to him. It wasn't anything like that was pushed or anything, but I thought it was like, it made sense to me that he was able to find comfort in there. And I also think like there's a lot of moments where we see a celebration of his love for the arts and creativity, and some of that is in the form of his dedication to creating this 3D cathedral sculpture. And he's so set on making that, and he's so set on working on that, and that is a constant prop that is used for the second half of the film. We keep going back to that. We see it being built, we see him working on it over and over again. We don't really see him interact with any other object quite like this. Why do you think we paid particular attention to this? Was there a reason for that? Did it reveal anything about his character?
I think that there are to me, I think that there are like little nods to the Hunchback of Notre Dame in this, and that cathedral just is, it's sort of like a Notre Dame like placeholder. And I don't know, it's like they're just trying to have some visual thematic ties to that story. I think that's kind of what I got from it.
I got the exact same thing.
Okay, just a nod to Hunchback. All right, that's sad.
Well, and also just the fact that he can only see the top of it, so he like lives in this world where he can't see the world the way we see it. He only sees parts of it because of the way he looks. So that's a big part of like he can only build part of it, and then I guess later on it's suggested that he saw the whole thing, or at least a picture. So he's able to do the whole model, because like he like the more human he becomes, essentially the more he sees. And it's all just like a visual symbolism.
That's fair. Cool. Before we move on to the next chapter, Matt, I feel like you could answer this well, because your lighting, the setup, you're very good at that. You're very good at setting the scene and respecting the scene itself visually. And something I think is unique about this, obviously, going in, I thought this movie was going to be much older, obviously black and white, but at the same time, you're dealing with Anthony Hopkins, and he's not that old, and he's not that young in here either. So this movie couldn't be super old, but it was black and white. And obviously they did that for a reason. How do you think, well, I guess this is sort of a two-part question. Why do you think David Lynch chose to film this in black and white? And how do you think the black and white setting complemented the ongoing tragic tale of the Elephant Man?
There might be an answer out there where he's answered why he did it in black and white, but yeah, you're right. This was made in 1980, so obviously color had been around for 3 decades or even more at this point. So yeah, it was definitely a stylistic choice. And to be honest, I don't know if it's one that I necessarily agree with. I think it's a great looking movie. Like, it's a really, really well shot movie. The lighting's beautiful. Everything's great. But I was watching it. I'm like, does this need to be black and white? I don't know. Like, I think ultimately it ends up working that way, because it makes it feel like it's timeless, sort of, even though like obviously when something is black and white, your mind automatically just like, oh, that's from the 1940s or whatever. But the fact that it was made in the 80s with conventional 80s technique back in the day, well, more late 70s, because this came out in 80, so they're probably shooting it in 79. But before he made this movie, he made Eraserhead, and Eraserhead's also black and white. So it's also just like he was probably familiar with that process and just felt like that particular process would have visual application with this. I don't know. I think it ultimately works, like I said, but does it need it? That's debatable.
I liked what Proctfile said here. He says maybe it made it easier to depict the prosthetic head. I think that sounds so right. It could have looked silly if it wasn't black and white.
He could have given some pretentious answer as to why it was black and white, but really it was just because, it hides the shitty makeup, Yeah, that could be it.
I just thought of something too. Elephant Man has never been seen, like the actual guy, he's never been seen like in color. Like there's been no color of him. So I feel like it would kind of ruin like the eeriness of the character if you've seen color, because it would make it feel more real. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I just feel like it like will transport you to that time too, even though
Right, yes.
obviously we see in color, but when you think of like old time stuff like that, because of the photos, you're in
Right.
black and white. And I don't know, to me, if David Lynch would have done this in color, I kind of think he may have ruined it, because that guy loves like a color scheme, you know what I mean, with all of his
Oh, yeah.
moods.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you just keep it black and white.
Well, we're lucky he made this before he got the digital video cameras
True,
that yeah, that Inland Empire was shot with. I mean,
Yes.
oh my God.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
I feel like
You
if they
guys
would've-
really need to watch some David Lynch movies. Like
You do.
What was this one you just said?
So he made this movie called Inland Empire back in the early 2000s. And have you guys ever seen 28 Days Later, the original one?
Yeah.
You know the
That's
way
great.
that
I
movie
love
looks?
one, yeah.
You know how that they basically shot that movie was shot with Canon cameras, but Inland Empire was shot with the Sony equivalent of that camera. So it has that same, like, they shot it on a mini DV tape and then they transferred that footage to film. So it has this like really crappy lo-fi quality to it, which like really works for 28 Days Later, but not so much for. I hate Inland Empire. That's like one of his, to me, is one of his worst movies. I fucking hate that movie. You can. He's one of those directors where if people hate him, I totally understand why they hate him. You know, I'm not going to defend it because the guy's a weirdo. Like he really was a weirdo. But some of his movies, just like they're a vibe. And to me, Mulholland Drive and Lost Highway really are at peak Lynch. You know, so I really want you guys to watch those, and I think we should do another one of these after you guys watch those films.
That'd be cool.
Because I'd love to hear your takes.
Mulholland Drive, and what was the other one?
And Lost Highway.
Lost Highway. Okay, nice, great. Not Eraserhead. You don't care about Eraserhead.
I mean, if you really want like unbridled raw Lynch, watch Eraserhead. But that movie sucks. It's so boring and pretentious. I hate that movie. I've always.
All right, you think it's worse than this?
Oh God, yeah. Like no, this no. Elephant Man is a great movie. Like this is like one of, I wouldn't say one of the best movies ever made, but it's just a fantastic film. Eraserhead, that is acquired taste. That's what all the, and you know, you guys like have like trans people. Back in the day, we had like the goth people at school. They would come to school wearing like the Eraserhead shirt. You know, you go to Hot Topic and they'd sell like 5 different Eraserhead shirts. You know, it was
now
sort of
young
like,
guys, they want goth mommies now. Hard cut. I don't know if they wanted that back when you were in school, but young guys want goth mommies now. Just so you know.
All right. Well,
it all comes full circle.
I'm not saying I'm one of them, but I'm just saying young guys, they like that now. Let's get to some of these chats. Yeah, it's been a weird turn of events with this generation. That's for sure. Let's see. Emperor Goodwin says add Blue Velvet to that list.
100%. That movie's great.
Blue Velvet.
Dennis Hopper is phenomenal in that.
Oh gosh,
he's wild.
John Waters. I heard John Waters is kind of freaky.
Well, I mean, like early John Waters, he kind of mellowed out as he got older, but yeah.
Oh wait, Pink Flamingos.
Yeah.
You like that one?
Don't watch it. If you want to see a transvestite eating dog poop, that's your movie.
Literally.
Wow. That's got Matt written all over it.
So good.
That would be a fun one to listen to you and Bobby talk about. I'd love that. That'd be great. Emperor Goodwin, Mel Brooks hired David Lynch because he saw Eraserhead and recognized Lynch knew how to shoot black and
Okay,
white.
so Mel Brooks already wanted to make it black and white.
Wow, so weird.
Well, if you watch this and then you watch Young Frankenstein, they look pretty similar.
They do. Yeah.
I love Young Frankenstein. That's my favorite.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that one sometime. I got that on the list. All right. Ian says the black and white makes it feel like the early silent films of the period this film is set in. Yeah. We were talking about how the play scene, how it was shot, and it looked just like that one freaky silent film with the moon. Is it called A Trip to the Moon or something like that?
I'm pretty sure when they like shoot it in its eye.
Yeah,
something like that.
something freaky. Oh, let's see here. Marky, art is greater than beauty. That is true. That is true. Emperor says John believes in the beauty of the world. Also, Merrick legit made those paper models for many people. Oh, that's cool. So, like, that's what the actual dude did.
But did he make a cathedral like that?
I would think so.
Yeah,
if this
right.
movie's going with accuracy, they probably had it.
Oh gosh, I knew once I dropped Helen Keller something would happen. Boica, of course, jumps to
I
it.
agree.
Of course, if anybody, it's our friend Boica. Helen Keller was a scam. Prove me wrong.
Apparently, Helen
not
Keller wrote a
disagreeing.
bunch of books. How is that possible?
It's
Right.
not.
Oh.
Also, do you just lie to her and tell her that she's a best-selling author?
How do you tell her though? That's my question.
Right.
How do you talk to her?
But that's what the Miracle Worker is about, you know?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Boica says Helen Keller was nothing more than a socialist communist plant directed by her caretaker, a known socialist communist.
Boica, based.
I always love his
Boica.
comments.
Yeah, Boica's hilarious.
Based Boica.
Based Boica. He
He is
definitely
based.
is. There's no doubt about that. I've never had a doubt about that with Boica. Oh gosh. Oh yes, Emperor Goodwin's totally right about this. I think we can all agree that the scene where John said, "I am not an animal, I am an Instagram model," really hit home. I thought you were gonna say the real line,
Brought tears
bro.
to my eyes. Yeah.
I am
Cinema.
an Instagram model. I thought this was an endearing comment from you for once, Emperor Goodwin. I was wrong. I thought too much. Dang. Oh gosh, that's sad. Oh, okay. Oh, Rebel Rose. It's good to have you on, Rebel Rose. I don't know if I have greeted you yet. Thanks for joining us. Oh gosh. Brock Falls warning me. Brawler, as a friend, do not watch Pink
See?
Flamingos.
Well, now you have to.
Oh God. It's
From the
torture,
Earth to the
honestly.
Moon.
There you
From the
go.
Earth to the Moon.
That's
Have
what
you
it
guys
is,
seen that?
Yes.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Huh. It was freaky. I remember being freaked out by that. I wouldn't mind seeing a new silent film. Like, try it. Or it could
Well,
be
you can
silent.
watch
Maybe
The
start.
Artist.
I was gonna say the artist won Oscars.
Is that
Yeah, that was
old?
the
Or
last
super
silent
old?
2012,
Not
2013.
that old.
Is it long?
No, it's like 90 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually own it, but I've never seen it.
All right,
It's
cool.
okay. It's not really Oscar worthy, but whatever.
And you own it. Nice.
I really couldn't get into it.
No, we
Yeah.
are not watching Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No.
No, sorry, Marky. Thanks for the suggestion. I'm all good. Here, let's move on to the next chapter here. Gosh, the worst thing is my college would do the stupid Rocky Horror Picture Show performance, and you could show up and choose what side to be on. I wanted to gouge my eyes out when they did that.
It's pretty gay.
Yeah, I'm never gonna ever see that in my life. Nobody can convince me. I don't care what you think. So yeah, I think that's pretty common. I think a lot of universities did that. But yeah, moving on back to this. We're not talking about pink flamingos and John Waters anymore. So yeah, we're in chapter 4 here. Merrick, his fame is spread. You know, a lot of people are starting to know about John Merrick, the Elephant Man, and they're starting to view him in a much more positive light, while there are a lot of skeptics, of course. And surprisingly, you know, his fame kind of spread all the way down to the ears and the eyes of the renowned actress Madge Kendall, who visits him, and she reads to him from Romeo and Juliet, gives him the book. And she really just treats him with genuine warmth. And she calls him her dear friend, and she gives him a kiss, which we were all like, hell yeah, let's go, bro. It was really awesome. Like, finally, this guy gets some love. Very nice moment. And they spend a little bit of time together, and we start to just see a different side, yet another side of John Merrick that we haven't really had the chance to explore. A guy who's catered to for his passions, right? Everything is very utility with him. You know, a lot of it is, you know, performing human functions, being able to talk, being able to communicate with people. Finally, somebody is bringing out the lighter side of life, which is what the actress is doing here for him. So it's a very, very great moment that we get to spend with those two characters, which you said, Matt, that is the wife of Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
that was his
interesting.
wife. Yeah,
Great. Yeah, not bad.
they were married for a long time.
Man,
until she died.
Oh, well, yeah, she did a good job in this. She played a good role. Not too crazy, not here too long, but yeah, good role. And something interesting is, this was John Merrick. He was attracting interesting people. In the pleasant ways, the high society folks were more respectable towards him, and strangely enough, royalty was even getting involved. We get a scene where there's a heated exchange amongst the prestigious surgeon powers that are kind of in charge of the Elephant Man and his residence in the hospital. And if it weren't for the Princess of Wales who showed up, he would have been kicked out. Likely he would have been voted out of the hospital, but she sent her regards from the Queen, and that resulted in giving him permanent residency in the hospital. It was a big move, big success, and it was a very happy moment that will be overshadowed by something absolutely terrible in the next chapter. But right now in this chapter, we have happy thoughts. So what do you guys think made the actress's visit with John feel special? Like, what made it stand out against the rest to you guys?
Maybe they were just so kind and sweet to him.
Mm-hmm. They were it's just a wholesome moment. They were extremely kind. They didn't think
Where's they? It's just her.
Well, there were other people.
We're using proper pronouns, okay?
Well, I mean, like the nurses too later on, and everyone like.
Well, we're talking about this one.
Okay, well, there were multiple rich people. They all okay.
She's right here. It's just her.
This lady in particular, yes, she treated him the way the others treated him, and it was very wholesome seeing him being there with all the nicer people. Yeah. I don't want to go off on just her, because there were multiple reactions or interactions this way, and I enjoyed the one with the wife more than this one.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, much better.
Yeah, I think that one's the most powerful stuff in the movie is when the wife meets him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
but I always whenever I watch this movie, the scene where she first it sets up that she's going to visit him, that always kind of bothers me, because I don't really know what her motivations are as to why she wants to meet him. It's because part of me is like, well, does she just want to see the freak show for herself? And then when she finally does see him, she almost takes not really necessarily a pity towards him, but more just oh man, I came here to see this, but there's this person in front of me. I didn't, and that sort of changed her instantly as soon as she sees him. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way when you watch this? Why does she want to? What are her reasons? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I think in the way that I'm processing when I was watching that was how you meet a celebrity.
Yeah,
he was the talk of the town basically, and she had the money to be ooh, I can go see him and meet him, and I want to see this freak show basically. But when she got there, she realized it was just a man. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's how I kind of took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crap, he's a actual person, not some heathen or whatever. Maybe people made him out to be or something. That's the only way that I could have thought. Because, they didn't really have celebrities back then in the same way we do. So that's why I was kind of maybe that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, I felt like she didn't go over there with a disingenuous, disrespectful agenda. It kind of seemed like she was there just for curious sakes.
Yeah,
and then, you said, she turned around and ended up finding a beautiful person in there.
Yeah, and she doesn't strike you as someone who's cold-hearted when you first meet her either. So I'm not even trying to say that she was a bad person, but yeah, I think that's pretty spot on, Ashley. I think that's the reason why.
I think I liked that she something that was revealed is he didn't know anything about romance. He didn't know what romance was. I don't think he knows it seems like he doesn't know anything about that, about love or like that sort of chemistry or connection. And, she doesn't exactly provide that, really, like not that much of a connection, but she gives him, a very basic understanding of romance, gives him the Romeo and Juliet book. And, I liked seeing her react to him reading the book. Like that was kind of a touching moment, seeing him sort of pour out his heart into this book and kind of announce it into the room, kind of theatrically. And of course, she's a theatrical actress, right? And it was nice. It was nice kind of seeing her embrace him in this loving, compassionate way, and giving him a kiss. It's like, let's go, man. That's awesome. Like, man, I was hoping he would like freak out. Like that would have been so fun. But no, he was super chill about it. Gosh,
what a wording for that. Like, yeah, he was just super chill about it.
He was. Am I wrong? Gosh, I see Ian here. He said something. I like this. He says, this scene with the actress is so compelling. You can tell she's uncomfortable at first, but as they do the Romeo and Juliet scene, she sees he's a man who deserves compassion and also a kiss.
Couldn't we have just given him somewhat of a girlfriend or a love interest in this movie? Could you
one of the nurses?
Maybe one of the nurses.
Marky made me laugh. Marky, when somebody was talking, is it bad I would have popped that pimple? That's so messed up, bro.
Maybe a surgeon could have gotten it off of his head.
Oh my god!
Is there a surgeon in the movie?
Man, that's come on. We don't joke about this. Oh gosh. So something like that happens in this chapter is, I think it's pretty interesting. Anthony Hopkins, he has this kind of damning internal conflict here because he's sort of created, as they mentioned, he sort of creates this whole new freak show out of his design, out of his own design, by showcasing him to so many people. We get a moment where we kind of take a moment to step back and see the way he's sort of perceiving things. And he starts to realize like, oh crap, I've been bringing people to see him, a lot of like accomplices, people I know, people that have been curious, and not because they're like being not because all of them are being disrespectful should he question himself, but at the end of the day, he is sort of showcasing John Merrick as a spectacle either way. So he's starting to like feel pretty bad about it himself. And he is kind of wondering what his intentions were. And I don't think he exactly figured out what that was. What do you think his motives were for that? And in this sequence where he keeps bringing people to see the Elephant Man, did you think that it was like there was an element of compassion? Did you think he was just trying to embolden his career or have some personal gain? Or do you think it was like nothing else and it wasn't anything to think about much of?
Maybe like more of a curiosity, like, hey, I come and see this wonderful guy that got a really bad hand in life, but he's the nicest guy. But yeah, you're right though. He ends up doing exactly what the freak show did.
I think it's all just about intention though. Like, I think that he didn't go into it with bad intentions. I think he's just he's a very clinical person. And so he looks at it just through a clinical lens, being a doctor, a scientist, and it's more through the process of what he's doing and him developing the relationship that he does with Merrick. That's when he starts to realize like, oh man, like what am I putting this guy through? Like, I'm sort of like this new showrunner, but I don't think that was like his intent. There might've been a bit in there to like progress his career and everything. We were talking about this earlier because, just like in the scientific field, you gain more notoriety, the more freakish things you might possibly find. So there might be that aspect to it, but I never thought that he was like an opportunist or a bad man necessarily, and like realized that as the movie went on. I think that he had a good heart from the start. And I think that him being, having that internal conflict is just a reflection of him being a good man, because I think that if you are a good man or a good person, it's never good enough for you. And so he's just questioning that about himself, if that makes sense.
I would have liked to see this explored a little bit longer. I know you said this movie, there was really no fat on it whatsoever. Could we have gotten a director's cut where we could have had a little bit more? And
Maybe we need some more fat in that area, huh?
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
a little off the head, something like that.
Because to me, this is the most interesting part of the film, and like I kind of agree with you. Like just to see a couple more scenes with him grappling with that, or some sort of a more definitive resolution to it,
Or maybe even the Elephant Man questioning, "What are you doing with me? You're parading me around too."
Or like him posing the question to the Elephant Man, and then the Elephant Man saying no, like he's the one that gives him the reassurance that he's a good man.
Yes, that would have been good.
Well, that sort of happens. I mean, the Elephant Man,
Yeah.
he tells him how happy he is. He's never been better. I don't think he has any problem with the way things have been turning out.
Yeah, but
and it doesn't seem like he is not showcasing him out of disrespect at all. Actually, the way I kind of interpret it is he's trying to provide awareness that this is a human, that this is a living person who is not the monster everybody sort of believes him to be. And through those individual accounts, word of mouth will spread. That's sort of what I took away from it. But yeah. So I was like, all right, we figured that out then. I thought it was kind of interesting how you guys believed the interaction with Dr. Treves' wife was more touching than with the actress.
It's not that it's more touching. It's just, I think it's more powerful.
Okay.
They serve two different purposes. Like, I don't think it's a touching scene at all. I think it's a hard scene to watch between with the wife. Because
what do you think? What do you guys think is so impactful about that moment? Because what happens for people, John Merrick, he gets an invite to Anthony Hopkins' house, and the kids aren't there. It's just the wife and him. And at first, she's kind of freaked out, but she sort of like bottles it in. You can tell she's holding back, and she just treats him very well. And he tours the house, and he just kind of notices the niceties that no other man would notice, because obviously he hasn't had a past where all of the niceties are present. It's late. That's when I'm tripping balls. So yes.
I don't know. You made a few errors on Twitter today with your.
Oh yeah, I know.
No. Just
Matt, that was you, Matt. You're to blame. Y-O-U-R. That was correct.
What did I do?
Y-O-U-R. Wait, was that you who did the or was it the other? Maybe that was Bobby. It was a hard cut. It was one of the hard cuts.
Oh, I didn't. No, that wasn't me.
Oh, so that was him. All right, you're not grammar police.
Wait, what was said on?
I said something of your Y-O-U-R. It was supposed to be Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. That was you.
I don't think that was me.
Oh, all right. Well, that was him then.
Pull it up.
I mean, not pulling it up.
See, that's the cool thing about having a partner. It's like I can blame all that stuff on him. If I did it, So,
well, you and your partner are very cute
my
together.
partner.
You guys are very cute together. Okay. So let's talk about that scene. What were you gonna say, Beth?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's just. I don't know. It's like the wife is trying to be so like pleasant and accommodating, as she is. Like, she's a good person, obviously, but it's just like hard for all of them all around. And then like, even just like as the scene goes on, he's like, "Oh, are these your kids?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Where are they?" They're like,
that was
we
rough.
sent them to a friend's house because we didn't want them to be here when you were here, freak. Like, that's sort of like what it is. And
you think he bought that?
Maybe, I don't know, but like, he's just such a kind person that like, even if he understands what's going on, like he's almost like he understands it, but you still just feel really bad for him. And and just like when he brings up his mom, and that's like what affects her, and like that's what gets her to crack. It's to me, it's the hardest scene in the movie to watch. But to me, it's probably the best scene in the movie as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Well, I like what Emperor Goodwin just said here. They're with friends. Oh, how wonderful, because he knows the concept of friend, but has never had one. Yeah, I loved that. Gosh, that's something that was so easy to really admire about the Elephant Man was his language. He was just so touching. Everything he said was so thoughtful and caring. Oh, how wonderful. Oh, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. I adore that. I adore her. It's just constant affirmation and just really thoughtful language that he just says all the time. And he reminds you of the niceties that we all take for granted, that we all enjoy day to day, that you just don't think about because you're so used to it. And yeah, it's real nice. It's real nice to be kind of reacquainted with that idea. Pretty special. Also, you look at him and you see his experience here, and it's further enlightening. It's enlightening because it's like, man, we are blessed. We can walk, we can talk, we can breathe just fine. We can sleep on our heads. It just kind of reminds you, like, we're all doing pretty good compared to what other people, in the world are really dealing with. Nothing like this exactly, but
I just think this movie has this like way about it where it makes you feel guilty almost. Like it's constantly like inadvertently like making like you reflect as a person, like, man, like I'm a terrible person because this guy, no one's been treated as badly as him in the entire world, basically. But yet he still is like the sweetest, kindest person you will ever meet. And then it's like, oh, I'm over here complaining about this. I feel this way about that. But this guy is like so like way sweeter than I will ever be, when he has no reason to be that way. And so you're watching it and you're just like, man, like I'm a piece of shit. So yeah, the movie's got this unique way of making you feel guilty, basically.
I actually do feel that, and I've been thinking about that as you guys have been talking about before. I'm like, yeah, this is really sad what's going on here, and I would really hate to live every day like that.
Yeah.
Like,
our friend Wilkie's here. Hello, Wilkie.
Corey.
Good to see you, Wilkie.
Hey man, what's up?
We want more Wilkie. I'm telling you, we want as much Wilkie as we could possibly take. Not in a weird way.
We know that, Jackson.
Marky J. David Bowie on Broadway, though. What? Is David Bowie in this?
No.
I don't think so.
No. I saw a movie with him in it recently. I don't know what it was.
Did you watch Labyrinth?
No, it wasn't
The
Labyrinth.
Hunger.
I don't know what it is. I can't remember.
Episodes of Venture Brothers.
The Prestige.
The Prestige.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was in that.
That's
what
a
a
good one.
weird role that time.
Tesla, man. He plays Tesla.
He was like such a normal looking guy in that one, too.
Which is
It's nice.
weird for him.
Emperor Goodwin supports your lifestyle choices, Matt. He supports you.
Thank you.
That's saying a lot. If you get Emperor Goodwin's approval like that, that's saying a lot, man. That's pretty cool. Oh, gosh. Yeah, he says, don't be silly, Matt. They've never heard of The Hunger.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know what that is. He's right.
That's actually a pretty
It's
good
like
movie.
it's Tony Scott's first movie or one of his first movies. It's about a vampire. It's a good, well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's good, but it's interesting.
Me Googling who Tony Scott is.
Oh,
You guys,
no.
Tony Scott's Ridley Scott's brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Is he any good?
oh, he was great. He committed suicide like in 2011 or
Well, that's
something.
a shame.
Yeah, he jumped off a bridge.
Wow.
It
Damn,
was
who
really
is it?
messed up.
Man,
Tony
that's a
Scott.
shame.
But he directed Crimson Tide, Man on Fire,
And he knew Days of Thunder.
Top Gun, Days of Thunder,
Crimson
and Top
Tide.
Gun.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
He was a great director. Great director. True Romance.
Here, we'll move on to
Yeah.
the next chapter here. This is when, unfortunately, the joyride takes a steep decline. Evil reawakens amongst John Merrick's rise to joy. A corrupt night porter sells tickets for drunken, rowdy viewings of John Merrick, the Elephant Man, turning his sanctuary into a spectacle as disgusting bums abuse him and take advantage of his inability to resist. Even worse yet, the freak show host Bites kidnaps him and ferries him far away for his traveling circus. Much later, he escapes and flees through Liverpool street station, but he's chased by a mob, and cornered and terrified, he collapses gets rescued, and returned to the hospital. This is an absolutely insane chapter. My gosh, so much happens here. Shit really hits the fan. And this is a really hard segment to watch, especially dealing with these weird, sickly, drunken people. How would you explain the behavior of these sickly perverts who paid to see the Elephant Man after hours? What is their deal? Because they are like a totally different breed of like disgusting, wicked, evil, like putrid scum. Like what's their deal? Why are they that way? Because I wouldn't be saying these foul words unless they acted truly like that, and they really did.
Well, even as that scene goes on, there's sort of that like circus music behind it, and to me, it's like they treat him like he's the circus animal, but really it's them. It's like anyone who looks at him that way or treats him that way, like they're actual freaks, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also just shows you that there's just evil people, regardless. Nothing has to happen to them; they just exist.
Yeah.
You know, pay for it, and they'll mock, him and do all that stuff. It was just, it just shows you that it doesn't matter where they come from. People can just be evil.
Right. At the beginning of this movie, sorry, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, part of me was wondering if this was like a dream sequence in his mind or something like that, because it was just so utterly unbelievable. More importantly, is there no security in this place? You got 40 people and all these hookers just running in there screaming and making out and
so those are
up and stuff like that.
hookers.
Not a single like nurse was like, "Hey, what's going on here?" So I thought a lot of that was a dream.
They're credited as Horror 1 and Horror 2 in the credits.
Well, that makes sense.
Wow. I was wondering about that. Like, that was something that was strange, was like the weird, like when it came to these guys that were like abusive and like demeaning towards the Elephant Man, they all had this weird sexual gaze to them. Like the porter dude, like I don't know what he is, like a security guard, like a night guard, or like some sort of maintenance dude. He had this like weird sexual like vibe about him when he was looking at him.
That's some of that David Lynch stuff coming through.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So that's like his vibe or whatever, huh?
Yeah.
Europeans.
Man, you say Europeans?
I said Europeans, yeah.
Europeans and David Lynch.
Gosh, yeah. That made everything just that much more like terrifying. Like, how on earth are you mixing
That
those?
was hard to watch. That was by far the most disturbing scene for me. I did not want to watch that. I want to forget that scene, pretend it never happened, because you have so much hope like towards the middle of this movie and so much beauty with all the interactions he has, and then that happens and it just ruins it. Just
Something I kind of took away when I was thinking about it, which is probably a little far-fetched, was that, the upper class was starting to like kind of embrace the Elephant Man a little bit. They were accepting him. He was being part of all these publications, whatever else. He was getting notoriety. And all these people are obviously very low class. And maybe I thought part of it could have been like rebellion against the upper class and their new mascot or their new hero taken under their wing. And they had the opportunity to do that. Also because, they are already kind of low on the food chain, and looking at him, and originally he was even lower than them. So they were kind of able to finally get off on somebody that was lower than them, because that ends up happening a lot of the time. People, pick on the smaller guy. It just kind of happens naturally, unfortunately. And, I think this was the prime example of these people able to do that to him. I have a picture.
I really like that. What you said though, is there a way that maybe they were also like almost rebelling against the upper class because they're using him as a mascot? That's a very interesting idea.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to knock him back down to their level, even though he was really never at their level. He was just living, because where else was he supposed to go, type deal. And it was like, oh, we got to give him a reality check, basically. It's like, oh.
Yeah, remember where you came from.
Yes.
That is crazy. Like, looking at this picture, his forehead, that's a bone. That is insane. Like, that doesn't look like a bone, like somebody mentioned in the chat.
If he wanted to, he could have just headbutt these guys and knocked them out.
That would have been nice. He finally awakens the elephant inside of him. I'm watching more like, what's
Any
happening?
joke towards this dude is like, man, like I don't know. There's no stopping it.
Hey, you got to use what you got, you know? I mean,
that's true. That's true. So, like, we talked about the disgusting sideshow host. Let's talk about this dude, the night porter, the night security guy. How does Lynch craft such an evil, unlikable monster like him? What does he do? Like, what makes him so evil and disgusting? And
well, first of all, you cast a guy that has that face. That's the first step.
Yes, he's very pervy.
Yeah.
Reality, he's probably the sweetest guy.
This is a guy who does get his comeuppance in the movie, though. So.
Not really.
Kind of.
Okay, he gets knocked out. The nurse knocks him out. That's cool.
With a book.
You know?
The most lame way to knock someone out is like, bonk. Then he just falls down to the floor. Come on.
Yeah, wouldn't it have been nice if Anthony Hopkins knocked him out or something like that?
Oh, he was about to.
He was a pretty big dude. I'm surprised he didn't put up a fight.
He kind of cowered. It makes sense. I mean, it says a lot about him.
Yeah, he's only brave in numbers, and look who he's beating up on.
That's a good point. Okay, so nobody. I feel like his character. I thought he was equally just as like well developed to be this disgusting roach that is so easily hated, just kind of like the circus dude. I feel like seeing somebody like in this state of like total unawareness as well, it's hard to like him. I mean, he's always drunk and like a disgusting drunk in this, and you could just tell he's just not there, and he's a mean drunk too. And we talked about that like weird sexually manipulating gaze he has. That is insane that is David Lynch's like signature. That's interesting.
It's
Makes
just
me
like
curious.
It's like a character that would be from any of his other movies, basically. Just weird, freaky people.
And I think like, considering like the first guy who, shows up in this scene, unfortunately, he's also like another obstacle in the Elephant Man's way, right? He's tearing down this humble man who's finally getting the love he deserves. And he's complicating and destroying his progress. It's not just like he's being mean. I mean, he is really screwing things up for him. Why don't you think John Merrick told Anthony Hopkins about these occurrences? Because there's been a few times where he's brought people up there, yet he never told Anthony Hopkins. Why not?
Because he's abused. It's a very difficult thing, I imagine, to open up with it. Because now he's finally, I guess, being seen by people, but at the same time, it's I'm still so vulnerable and could be easily taken out whenever. It's like it just must be such a difficult thing. I mean, I'm trying to think of the words exactly to say, but yeah, he could be taken down in a second. So emotionally, that's always going to stick with him. It doesn't matter who's what. It doesn't matter if the queen's hanging out with you or nothing. This could easily happen.
Yeah, like I don't even know if he knows it's his place that he can say something, first of all. And also he just might, it's like, well, this is just the way it is now. This is the current situation that I'm in now. This is just how it is. Like, he doesn't know like that this isn't right necessarily,
Yeah.
I like what Goodwood says here. He says, Porter is totally destroying the idea that this is Merrick's home, which was given to him this very day. That's sad. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
right.
like it
takes
still
away
makes
his
him
control
vulnerable.
and his solace. That's something like, let's talk about that real quick, because this is a really tough scene to get through. This like strange, drunken spectacle where everybody rushed into the room and starts just like kind of taking advantage of him. What made this sequence so disturbing?
I just think it's like the grotesque nature of everyone, the music, and how everyone's just like in this like drunken state. I don't know. It's just like it turns into a freak show.
And I think how vulnerable he is.
Yeah,
the whole time, like there's nothing he can do about it. It's just sad. It's so vulnerable. He's all by himself. He's alone. It's so disturbing.
he doesn't even fight back this
No.
entire time. Like he's just being held like a rag doll, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just completely goes limp to it.
Because then he'll get rocked. He will. You know, he could get beaten to death if he tries anything rash with these guys.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
almost
that's
like
something.
PTSD. Just it's really what it is, because it's bringing back all the trauma that he had to deal with, you know, in the actual, you know, freak show, and these people are treating him just the same. So it's like, oh, and so when he wouldn't tell, you know, anybody what happened, it was basically because he felt ashamed, even though he had nothing to be ashamed about, because he's a vulnerable human being. Like, I mean, look at the state of him. It's not like he can defend himself, you know. So, and these people obviously know that. That's why they were like, all right, let's go pick on him and be weirdos and be gross.
Well, Parkfall says here, what could he even do to fight back? Yeah, right. I don't know, but yeah, some sort of resistance. I think that's part of what's disturbing about this, is that I feel like he isn't able to do anything, and that's so awful. Yeah, and vulnerable. Luke, I thought that was a great point. You know, he is so vulnerable in so many ways. It's like he has to be safeguarded so severely because of his mouth is always open like that. He probably has like a really small I doubt he can like handle much liquid in there, like a drink. And he gets all that beer in his mouth. He can barely breathe. And then he's got these people throwing him around. They're laying on top of him while he's laying down. He's not even supposed to lay down. Oh gosh, it's awful.
He's lucky if that was beer. That might have been liquor.
Yeah,
eyes,
you're
too.
right. It might have been liquor. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go on to the next point here, though. This is where I think like one of the hardest scenes to watch. Let me find a good picture for this. I guess we'll just do this one. One of the hardest scenes to watch. Also, I think probably the most exciting scene to watch in the whole film was shortly after he gets taken. Obviously, he gets taken by the carnival douchebag, and he obviously is very far away from this space in London. They weren't able to find him, and he's admitted back into the freak show, and he's doing terrible there. He's not taken care of. He's treated even worse. And thankfully, the other members of the freak show, they save him, and he escapes. And unfortunately, to get back home, he has to like ride a ferry and go through this like subway system, or like this transportation system. Train that or he's in like the station, where he is another awful representation of vulnerability. He's alone, and he is a sore thumb. My gosh, does he stick out?
Mm-hmm.
And he would stick out probably, gosh, I don't know what would stick out more, if he had the hood off or if he had the hood on, but he really stood out. He can't move very fast, and slowly everything falls apart as the children notice him, and then more people gather around him, and it creates this absolutely hectic chase scene. And it's absolutely and totally hectic and intense, and it's just masterfully done. I think it's probably the most exciting moment in this entire film. What do you think? What do you think was the movie magic that made this so intense? What was the setup that made this sequence so hard to watch and thrilling like it was?
Are we talking about this whole this scene as a
I'm
whole?
talking about the scene. Like, so starting off, he is in the station, and he's on his own. He's wearing the hood, and he's all wrapped up. And the kid is like shooting spitballs, right? And then he starts to pick on him. So he's like trying to evade him and walk away, but the kid keeps messing with him. And then two more boys see him in the distance. Then they start messing with him. And even worse yet, he's trying to get away from them. And now he's kind of labeled the monster even further, because he knocks into some little girl. She falls over, starts crying. And now all these parents and adults are now looking onto the Elephant Man. And he looks freaky. He's stumbling around. and they take his hood off, and he looks like a monster. So all of this paired together, and he's desperately trying to escape. He barely has any physical faculties, and he gets cornered against a wall, and everybody thinks he's a monster. Like, why was this so intense? How did this work so well?
We had mentioned earlier that some of the sounds that he makes and like the way he moves, it's very Frankenstein-esque. This scene's also very Frankenstein. This is like the townspeople going after him with pitchforks, basically, and the scene's got like a good rhythm, because it starts, like you said, it starts out with the kids, and then like it just sort of builds and builds and builds. He runs into the little girl, and then you're just thinking to yourself like, oh shit, they're gonna like hang him or something, but to me, this is like one of the more powerful scenes in the movie, because the famous line, I'm a human or whatever, when he yells that. But to me, this is the scene in the movie where he realizes his value as a human being finally. Like this is like him coming to terms with like him, like this is the only time he like stands up for himself in the whole movie, and this is where he's just tired of it. He's like, you guys, like, I am a person inside, it's the only time he actually does it though.
To the open world too.
Yeah, exactly.
And it worked.
Best way to do it.
Well, yeah, like you think that it's going to go one way, like it's going to end with them basically killing him, but they're just so shocked by him and like what this thing is talking like a person. It is a person. They don't even know what to say at that point. And so there's like sort of a catharsis there too. But like in terms of like character arc going full circle as a character, this is the scene where he does that, where he realizes his value as a human being.
Must have been a hell of a car ride back to the hospital with the police officer.
Yeah.
Like, imagine just driving this guy that's like, what is this thing? The entire time, you have a billion questions.
Can you not look at me?
Nice. I thought for me, something that made this work so well was the breakdown. It was like, the ball just kept rolling, I remember seeing that stupid little twerp kid as he's spitballing people. And I'm like, oh gosh, he's going to cause trouble. And you see him go up to him and he's just antagonizing him. And the poor elephant man, he's just trying to avoid him. He doesn't want any unnecessary attention, but he can't avoid it. And this stupid kid keeps getting in his face. And it's already like, we've seen him go through so much, and we've seen just how debilitated he is. And you just feel that, and you feel him trying as hard as he can to like keep moving, but he's so limited and nobody's there to help him out. And then it just gets worse, because then you get 3 more of those little twerps, and then they come into the picture. And then when he runs into the girl, stupid girl, she's in the way, and she gets knocked over, immediately in your head, red flags are waving, because this is now the warning sign that he is a bad guy because he hurt a child. So now you know that all these adults are going to start swarming him and are going to act like he is an antagonist. And even worse yet, they see what he looks like. And it's like, gosh, this guy is also, not only is he an antagonist that hurt this child, he is also a monster. So now we got to kill the monster. It's probably beyond like just hurting a normal person at that point. And you see him, and we know everything he's gone through, and we know he's a real human, and that he's got a lot of heart. He's a great person, and he's finally starting to find himself and be happy again. And all of this happens, and it's just such a chaotic, like, mess of events that creates such a thrill. I really enjoyed that, and of course, what a great way to cap off and sort of end this reign of awful events by his final stand-up for himself, which is like his main one, right? Because most of the time people are standing up for him. So before we get to the last chapter, which is a happier chapter and kind of sad, we're going to get to a few of these chats. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We appreciate you guys. Ever good one. The first question would be, how the hell do we have a police car in the 1880s? Yeah. How are they? Yeah, I wonder what
police
the cops,
carriage ride, whatever.
police horse carriage.
Oh man, the horse must have freaked out seeing him.
The horse freaked out, bro. Oh gosh, Boica, if I was there, stupid kid's father would have been doomed. I don't have the time nor patience to calm the scene down to whom we know is the villain. Dang. Wait. So you're saying the kid is the villain?
The kids are always the villains in these things.
Oh, the stupid kid's father would have been doomed. Yeah, right? Like the kid was spitballing people. That really died off. People don't spitball each other anymore. Park file, $2. Thanks, Parkdo. If you guys got to meet John, what would you do?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I'd watch movies with him.
Wow, that'd be cool.
Just try to treat him like a person and ask as very little questions as possible.
Yeah, just be casual.
Yeah.
Be casual, be cool. Yeah. Nice. Thanks, Park File. What would you do, Park File? Yeah.
Parade him around and make money off of him.
You're awful. Oh gosh, yeah, Emperor Goodwin. The combination of using him as an object of amusement combined with that demented carnival music. Oh gosh. You know what? I think I love Apocalypse Now. It's one of my favorite films of all time, top 5. I love the way he uses the carnival music in there, especially with the bridge scene. Oh my gosh, it just pairs so well with the madness of what's going on. It's perfect. It's great. Yeah, and it just feels, it's really off-putting when you hear the carnival music with this black and white backdrop of the Elephant Man being abused by these people. Like, it doesn't really match, but it's also highlights like the madness of what's going on. Crazy. Well, let's get to the final part, people. This is it. This is for all the marbles. I am going to use I guess we'll just go back to this picture. Oh, no. We'll use this picture of the Elephant Man
there
as
we
he's
go.
laying down. So, thankfully, back in safety, John Merrick, he enjoys a magical theater outing, and he really loves the theater, and he's acknowledged in front of hundreds of people for his bravery, and he gets a standing ovation. It's a very nice moment. Finally, all these people stand up to applaud him, not to like shun him and put him down. And he finally completes his beautiful cathedral model that was, previously tattered and destroyed. And he has a really nice moment one-on-one with Dr. Treves, who is, Anthony Hopkins. And he just feels so loved and admired. And he's so happy with the way things are turning out in his life. And it was really touching how Anthony Hopkins mentioned how he'd like to do that again with him in the future. And he just loved it. He says, "Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. I'd love that." It's like, gosh, finally, people don't acknowledge how thankful they are for anything anymore. So it's like, it's so nice to hear him be like that. I want to be more like that. It's just inspiring. And sadly for him, though, this was his final night. He kind of chose this a little bit, which was interesting. Maybe he did. I guess we're going to talk about that. But he has this picture of this child on the wall. It's like a drawing of this kid laying down in bed, and he's comforted and he's comfy, and he looks at that and he envies it. He really wishes he could do that, and he's been looking at it for a long time, and now he finally decides to remove all the pillows, and he finally props himself up just like the kid, and he lays down flat like all the other people, and knowing that the weight of his head will probably suffocate him. And sadly, the film closes poetically with a little kind of a strange ending with, an image of his mother in like a sun or like a planet.
David Lynch, dude.
Yeah, and there's like swirling smoke, but that's kind of implying that he died, and he goes up to his mom in heaven. So
oh, really?
It was definitely, I don't know, that's sort of what I took from it, I guess. But it was definitely sad that he died there in the end. But I guess he went out on his own terms. I don't know. I don't even know if he's died, right? I mean, it's a strange situation. You think he's dead?
Oh, 100%. He laid the pillows out.
Maybe like he was gonna. Something is like, I remember them mentioning that he was already dying before. Like he has been in a state of dying. That this wasn't just like he was it was going to happen at some point. So maybe that's not like, maybe it wasn't directly related. I guess they're kind of insinuating that it was. But why do you think he chose to lie down at the end here? Was it because he wanted to die? Do you think he like wanted to make the choice to die here? Do you think it was sort of like
he had the most perfect day ever? He got dressed up. He went to the opera that night. He got to sit next to all these people. He got a round of applause. Like, well, I finished the perfect day. It could only go down from here.
Nothing was ever going to top that.
Yeah.
And he wanted to end as comfortable as possible. Despite the trauma that it could be causing him from extending his neck down that low, but it could have been comfortable for him, on his final moments.
It's just like him wanting to be like he was treated normal that entire day, and he wanted to go to sleep normal.
You're right.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he didn't have like a proper childhood or anything either. He's never really had that comfort. And I think that image, sometimes we look at pictures and it reminds us of, those glory days of, being comfortable with your parents or very family, being with your family, being warm at Christmas, being warm in a moment, right? And I think looking at that picture, that sort of makes him wish he had that. That's sort of what that image makes me think of. And yeah, he chose to accept that, that form, that final act of normalcy, that, final act of embracing the comfort he never had. And that was it. So pretty sad.
It's really depressing.
Yeah, it's depressing. You're right. It's
really
depressing.
Picked the absolute most depressing movie I've ever done on this channel.
We've been pretty positive, though. We've been pretty positive. Gosh. Yeah. I got 2 more questions. How would you describe John Merrick as a man? Like, what makes him such a beautiful soul? What makes him such a likable character at the end of the day?
He's wholesome. I feel like he's very, very polite. Like everyone he meets, he's just very, just I don't even know. He's just he's humbled, and he's just very enthused to meet these people. Like he kept on saying, "I am pleased to meet you." And he teared up multiple times after meeting all these people, and he was just a happy soul when he was treated right.
He's a man that was dealt one of the worst hands you could possibly imagine, and he just came out as a better person. Never angry, never vindictive, never hating the world, never cursing God every 5 seconds. Like Luke just said, he was just a nice, humble dude that was excited to meet everyone.
It's a good man.
Yeah. Gosh, Boa cover $4.99. I don't recommend the carnival music in the bedroom. I wasn't big nor flexible enough to make that fun. Stick to Journey songs. You're crazy, bruh. You are crazy. Carnival. Yeah, nice. So you're not a clown like that, huh, Boica? Could you be a clown? I guess you could be a clown. They don't have to be flexible or anything. Gosh, nice one. That's funny, Boica. Emperor, good one. Oddly enough, the ending is achingly beautiful and positive, but his death is painful to the audience because they've come to know and love him. Yeah, that's for sure. He's a victim of nature, pure soul. It was sad. Gosh, look at this. I mean, you look at that, and as Emperor Goodwin says here, yes, he sees his mother as he dies. Like, that's so sad. This image is just sad. You have the nice little Bible on the table, and he's looking at his mom, who he adores and loves, even though, no. Well, that's the actress right there, but the mom is to the left of that. And he adores and loves her. It's really sad. Sad way to end it. Not exactly a happy ending. And Kyle's busting my balls. Brawler, I heard somewhere that David Fincher directed this. Yeah, you heard that from me.
It was funny because I saw that on your Instagram, and I was gonna correct you, but Kyle had beaten me to it. So thanks, Kyle.
I meant Lynch. It just came out. Yeah, I was typing. That's funny. David Fincher is nowhere near as accomplished as David Lynch. At least I don't think so. Do you?
Yeah, just in different ways.
Yeah.
I don't think Fincher has as many classics as Lynch, though.
I don't know, man.
Fincher
think
has
he does.
7, right? 7. That's
Fight
the only one
Club.
that comes to mind. Fight Club. Okay.
Oh, way more complex. Yeah, Gone. I'm just going through right now. Gone Girl,
Yeah.
Social Network.
Oh yeah,
Zodiac.
Alien
Oh,
3.
Yeah.
Alien 3. He's also got Alien 3, guys.
That's his
Well,
worst film. Like,
yeah.
come on, that's not that bad.
And it's his first film too, so you can cut him some
Yeah.
slack, you know.
He did
Yeah,
Temple
true.
of Doom too.
No, he didn't. He did
No?
like storyboards for it. He
Yeah.
didn't.
Oh.
He was like a kid. He was like 15. He did that, and he worked on Return of the Jedi as well, I believe.
Oh wow.
Oh.
That's cool. All right, my final question for everybody is, whose performance was the best in this? Was it John Hurt or was it Anthony Hopkins?
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, John Hurt did a great job, but at the end of the day, I think you could have replaced him with anyone else.
Yeah.
Maybe as a guy in a prosthetic, I never really understand why you get certain actors for things like that. We didn't get a John Hurt performance out of this. I don't think that we couldn't just have someone else do it.
I mean,
All right.
yeah, like I feel like it's like when someone plays a retard in movies. You know, there's like the joke, never go full retard, which is true because you won't be up for an Oscar if you go full retard. But if you're partially retarded, then you will be up for an Oscar. In my opinion, when you play a retarded person, it's like it's very easy to do that because you have like so much stuff to play with, you know. Whereas it's harder to play the straight-laced guy, like the more realistic person. And I think that that's the case here. Yeah, obviously, I think Hurt is really good in this. He does a lot of heavy lifting, but to me, the standout is Anthony Hopkins, just mostly because, again, it's just that very naturalistic performance where nothing he does like outright shows like, oh, I'm a good man or whatever, but like you get that just from his performance that there is a lot of warmth inside this guy's heart, and it's all just done in the subtlety of the performance. I think that Hurt's performance is like the bigger standout role, obviously the one that people might think of when they think of this movie, but I think that Anthony Hopkins is the unsung hero from it.
Nice. Yeah,
Nice.
I think that's fair. Both are great, and they couldn't really live without each other. And I think that's a recommend. Everybody, do we recommend this film?
I do.
Thumbs up.
100%.
All
It's a beautiful movie. It really is.
The
It's
Elephant
kind
Man.
of sad. It kind of ruins your day afterwards.
Oh.
It does, but that's
Yeah. It's one of
but it's
those
good.
movies that's like, it's hard for me to recommend it because you're going to be so upset afterwards. It's like, you know, hey, Passion of the Christ, great movie. He gets beaten for 2 straight hours. Like,
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Marky
wait, I'm
says
assuming.
Pink Flamingo's next.
Oh God, no!
you
Have
gotta,
you
you gotta
guys?
do it. The people have spoken.
You got to do
God,
what the
have
chat
you-
tells you to do.
No, that's terrible. That movie sucks. Have you
I'm
seen
not
Requiem for a Dream though?
yeah. It's like that's more brutal than this, obviously, but it like kind of leaves you.
Well, that's
with
what I'm
that-
saying. Like we're talking in the vein of just movies that will ruin your day. That
Yeah.
one, there's no optimism in that movie.
No.
None.
Dang. Sounds like a great film to watch. Really
It
exciting
actually is
It would be-
stuff.
really good though.
It is good.
Okay, cool. Great. All right. Well, I think that's it from us, everybody. We did it. We discussed the movie. 2.5 hours. Wow. Good stuff. I appreciate my panel for being here as always. Hard Cut, Matt, thanks for joining us, buddy. Great having you back on after Planet of the Apes. Had you on for
course.
Planet of the Apes?
I'm serious. I really want you guys to watch Mulholland Drive and Lost Highway, and I want to talk
I'll
about
put
it
that
on
the
this stream.
list.
I'm being
Right.
serious.
Lost Highway and
I still want that to
Mulholland
happen
Drive.
now.
Okay, all right. I'll put it on the list. I will put it on the list, definitely. I'll let you know. That'd be great. And Ashley, it was great having you on too. Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah.
It
Thanks for
was a
having me
pretty
again.
kind of a quick turnaround, I guess. Maybe 3 weeks. I don't know. I don't know
I
when
think
we
so.
talked about Neverending Story. Yeah, but it was
It
fun.
was a couple weeks.
Yeah, and it was good having you on, World War Joe. As always, we appreciate
Love
you.
to be here.
Yes. Oh, real quick, one more super chat. We appreciate it, Boaca. We love you. Okay, this one isn't crazy. Boaca for $4.99. Bigger question: name a bad Hopkins performance, not the movie itself. His performance.
That's a great
Thor.
question. That's like
No.
what I would.
Oh,
I think that my all-time favorite actor is probably Denzel Washington, and I would say the same thing about him. But then Gladiator 2 came out, and Denzel's pretty shitty in that.
Yeah.
So, but I don't
terrible.
think Anthony Hopkins has that though. I think Bowick is right. I think that he's just one of those dudes that puts 110% in everything he does.
You know, I feel like Park File says Odin. I kind of think Odin. I mean, it's not like it's bad,
Yeah,
but it's not the best performance.
Well,
He has something to work with.
It's a little phoned in, maybe, and yeah.
Anthony Hopkins said in an interview once that he felt that was a waste of time. Like Odin was such a waste of time because he wasn't really acting. He wasn't really acting. I mean, he was so dull as Odin. I mean, he was just he had like what like.
They did not care about him at
like
all.
He had maybe 8 minutes of screen time, like his whole Marvel career. Yeah,
and he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He did not like it.
Paycheck.
So,
he's too OP. They couldn't keep him alive.
Yeah, Feige paid him good, so
nice. You love your Marvel. You love your Marvel.
Yeah, you act like you don't like Marvel, but it was all good back then. Okay, you know
it's dead. It's dead to me.
It's coming back.
It's dead. No, it's not. It's over. It's over.
It could easily come back with a few good writers.
It's over, World War
And
Joe.
guess what? They had those few great writers coming back.
Enjoy your new Avengers: Shang-Chi, Sam Wilson, Shuri, and Cassie Lang.
Hey,
enjoy them.
Oh.
Hey,
I hope you love them. That's the future of your Marvel paradise.
Don't waste a cent on the tickets then.
All right, we'll do. I'll buy a ticket to something else and I'll sit in the theater. There you go. Only watching it for YouTube purposes. All right, that's it for us, everybody. Catch us next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We are discussing Dark Crystal. Ooh, very spooky Dark Crystal, everybody. So, yes, we definitely appreciate it if you joined us live next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, our typical streaming time. And be sure to check out all these great channels who were part of my lovely panel tonight. Hard Cut, Ashley, and World War Joe. Links are in the description below. And if you liked what we had to say today, please be sure to subscribe, not describe, to Box Office Brawler. We do this every week, every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Try to discuss a classic, iconic film that we are reacting to the very first time. We appreciate you guys as always. Never forget, give him the Duke, give him the dog. We'll see you around. Peace.
What kind of person are you? Are you the kind that sees signs